Hey guys, it's your bear boy host Hito with better audio because now we have a splitter cord. Yeah, that's right, we did it. But yes, how's everyone doing today? We are about to do a studio that is now dead, sadly. But yes, dead. Bought out. And our first person to introduce is the fluffiest of phoenixes that gives warm hugs. Will be. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There we go. Phoenix Fire. Phoenix Fire. So yes, our first guest. So, how you feeling about Blue Sky Studios ever since they got bought out by Disney? There we go. There we go. See?
You monster.
I'm not a monster. But hey, Phoenix, plug yourself for the people.
Wait, what?
I said plug yourself for the people, and I mean actually like talk about your streams.
Okay, that's what you meant. Okay. Hi everybody. I am Phoenix Fire, aka Princess Snugglebutt, aka Snuggles. I am a variety streamer on Twitch. We are an LGBTQIA plus mental health and family friendly community. And we just chill around, we have fun, we play Lego games, Borderlands games, all sorts of stuff. And we just, well, if you want to stop by, love to have you there.
Shout out.
No,
Thank you so much
don't,
for
you
11
monster.
gifted subs. I owe you a sub wheel spin, and you get to pick any two-channel.
We get to watch Phoenix cry. That's the best part of the
So let me
streams.
go to the sub wheel page.
Dare you do this to me?
For you. Oh my
Why
God.
would you do this to me?
Everyone,
Because the
thank
best
you
part
so
of the
much.
streams.
Follow.
Are we really just not gonna like Blue Skies got bought out by Disney? See, there you go. Oh, this is payback for last stream, by the way. Just letting you know that now.
What did I do last stream?
Oh, did we forget?
Yes, I forgot.
I'll give you a hint. There's some hoes in this house. There's some hoes in this house.
Okay, I remember.
Okay, there you go. Now you remember. Perfect. Next up, we have... Oh my god. It took that to actually help you remember. I'm just laughing. But, oh my god. So, our next guest is a Nintendo variety streamer like crazy. Plays a lot of Nintendo games. Loves a lot of Mario. It always works for you. Let's see. We got the magical Titus, TW. Sup?
Sup?
I also forgot to say melodious because you sing.
I do sing, occasionally on stream. I sing more in real life than on stream, that's for sure.
That is fair. Alright, so plug yourself, Titus.
Okay, well, as Hito said, I'm a Nintendo variety streamer. But let me just correct him just a little bit. I play everything on the Nintendo Switch, mostly, so not necessarily just Nintendo, but just anything that is part of that Nintendo console. Something that I'm working on currently is beating Celeste Chapter 9. I'm on the final room right now, and if you want to go see me finish that at some point, which would be one of the greatest gaming achievements I'll ever have in my entire life, you can find me on Twitch at TitusTW. I also upload certain things from Twitch onto my YouTube at Titus Wing. I wonder what clip this is.
It looks like Tetris 99.
Oh, this is me getting my first ever all clear on stream, yeah. Well, not first ever all clear, but first all clear on stream. That's different.
That's awesome.
That is always the difference, because whenever we try to kick ass in some game, streamer bad luck happens. And then when streamer bad luck happens, it's just it's not fun for everybody, which is
Streamer
okay.
bad luck is just like
Yeah, that's true. The streamer's curse is too real, man.
Like,
yeah, no, like it's just like when I'm farming for gear in Borderlands and it takes me like 40 farms to get it, and then I don't even get the right kind of gun. I'm just like,
yeah, and then you do it off camera, and then suddenly you get it on the first try. It's like, what?
exactly. Streamer luck is a curse and a blessing.
Oh no, trust me, evolutions in Digimon are extremely pissy on me, and in Worlds, you gotta leave it up to chance. Okay, make sure that the Digimon eats, make sure you train it well, make sure it poops in a toilet and not on the floor, you know, the good stuff. You know, make sure you care for it. Yeah,
Mikan's got a good point, like with Yu-Gi-Oh. Mm-hmm.
we're not talking about Yu-Gi-Oh today. Get that out of
Titus, when are you going to be playing Bayonetta 2?
Me? I mean, I would probably start with Bayonetta 1, but I don't know.
I don't think they made Bayonetta 1 for the Switch.
Yes, they did.
They did?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did.
So Bayonetta 2 is released with a digital copy of Bayonetta 1. And since 3 is coming out, they're going to make a physical version of 1 as well.
I cannot wait for 3.
Well, good. I'm actually really excited then.
But enough about them video games, because we're talking about Blue Sky Studio, you know, the studio that got bought out by Disney.
I swear to God.
It's going to be a long night for Phoenix.
Yeah, I know. You're telling me. I get to hear their crying all night.
Hey!
It's the trademark of their streams, seriously.
Actual copyright Phoenix Fire, do not steal.
Yep.
Phoenix. No one's made me cry in a while, so hot. Wait, no, that was not the right thing to say. That was not the right thing. Don't you both you stay away. You're grounded from my streams for a while.
Sure.
Sure, and then you're gonna come into our streams and make us cry. I see how.
Yes, that's exactly how it works.
No. But anyway, I will say this. So we're gonna talk about Blue Sky Studio. We're gonna play the In Memoriam theme for it. In the arms of an angel.
At least it's not Leaves from the Vine. Don't you dare, Hito.
I will literally pull out the kalimba and start.
Blue Sky Studios, bought out by Disney, never to be seen again. Cry about it.
Is nuts. Listen, Scrat did what any other decent person on a one night stand did. He got his nut and then he booked away. That's it. It's done.
Oh,
I mean, he literally did a one night stand just with an actual plant.
There you go.
He literally did. He smashed and dashed just for the nut. You know, he nutted, then he stole the nut.
All right.
Wait.
Wow. Wait. Okay.
I feel dirty now.
Okay.
I was gonna say this got very not toony very quick.
Listen, when is it ever toony here?
You tell me. How have your previous guests been? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. Somebody was singing WAP on my other stream last time and also using the Ussy word so many times. And now every time they decide to use it, I'm just going to keep bringing up that Blue Sky Studios is dead.
Ussy!
Okay. Good thing that rat bought out Blue Sky Studios. No more of the other beautiful squirrel that we have.
Fuck up.
See? There we go. It's gonna be a lot of this going on. I promise there won't be a lot of this going on. Goes off screen. There's a lot of this gonna be happening today.
Damn liar.
But yes, so Blue Sky Studios gave us some of the beautiful movies that we enjoyed. We had Robots, Ice Age, Rio. I love Rio.
Oh, I love Rio so much.
We're gonna start with the first question, which was Phoenix. What's your favorite movie out of the Blue Sky Studios?
Robots.
Okay, can you explain why?
No hesitation. Okay, so in addition, like, I literally need to say 2 words and it will explain why, but I will go into more depth. The 2 words are Robin Williams. It is hands down my favorite role of his. The comedy that he put into Robots was just so on point and so Robin Williams that I can't help but love it. I will never turn down an opportunity to watch that movie. It has great characters, it has great acting lineup, and just the only thing that's almost as good as Robin Williams in that movie is Aunt Fanny, because how can you not love Aunt Fanny? Like, it's Aunt Fanny.
I don't know. How could someone not like Aunt Fanny? I mean,
like, she literally had her own short called Aunt Fanny's Tour of Booty. Like,
sounds like a porno, by the way. Just saying. It does. Listen, you can get mad at me all you want. Does it not sound like something that you would find in the XXX side of a video store?
You're not wrong, but here's the funniest part. The funniest part is that the biggest, like the highest. Okay, so on Rule 34, the most searched and the most amount of art is of Aunt Fanny robots, and I just love that.
We're already going to the sex. Okay, got it. Understood. So lots of Rule 34 going on.
It's just a great movie. I really do love it, and I always will.
I see. You know, it's not about the ass. It's just about the ass.
No, it's a fantastic movie, a great story, really funny, lovable characters, some good character development. And it does have, a lot of those old classic cliche tropes, like the like everyone hates the villain, in the end the villain turns around, it's just I don't know what part of it really just spoke to me and made it my favorite, but I think it was just the movie as a whole that just spoke to me, and it will always be my favorite. You could put Rio, you could put Ice Age in front of me, but if you put Robots in front of me, all those are getting swept off, and Robots is going to be first. Always.
Development.
What about development?
It's all about the
development.
The development.
It's just like my brother saying, "Take him to the place." I have no idea what you're talking about.
You watched Aunt Fanny's Tour of Booty just for the plot. The development.
I hate you guys.
Oh my god. Titus, you're up next. What was your favorite Blue Sky movie?
Oh man, there's gonna be too many butt jokes in this episode, aren't there? Anyways,
oh yes.
I have to wholeheartedly agree with Phoenix here. My favorite Robots movie is also Wait, what did I say? My favorite Blue Sky Studios. Movie.
I
said the wrong thing.
I heard Booty Sky Studios. What?
That is absolutely not what I said. I accidentally said my favorite Robots movie, and then I realized, wait, I already said the name of the movie. My favorite Blue Skies movie of all time is also Robots. And before I get my neck absolutely ringed here, Robin Williams played Fender, right?
Yes, he played Fender.
And Fender is the silver evil robot, or is that a different?
No, Fender is the red robot. The red robot that's breaking down.
Fender was the red robot?
Yeah, Fender was the comedic best friend.
Dude, I thought for the longest time his name was Thunder for some reason.
Wow, Titus, and you claim that's your favorite?
Well, listen, I can tell you right now, there was a blue robot named Rodney who was the main character, and they all tried to go to Big Weld City, which Big Weld was played by Mel Brooks. Thank you very much. Anyways, believe me, chat. I do know what I'm talking about. Anyways. Robots was the very first Blue Sky Studios movie I ever watched.
Same.
As a kid, and I remembered seeing that movie, and I will have to say, I don't know if Phoenix brought this up already, but it was ahead of its time.
Absolutely.
In a lot of different aspects. I mean, I don't think there will ever be another movie that could ever portray a city full of robots more accurately. I don't think I've seen another movie that's depicted a robot city more accurately since I saw Robots. And I mean, the whole plot is maybe a little predictable, with everyone kind of hating on the villains, and the villains just get absolutely trashed at the end. I mean, whoever the aunt of the Silver Sun got absolutely destroyed in their own machine. Yeah, I mean, his mother got absolutely destroyed in her own machine, which was funny. And then Silver Robot ended up like his brother out there, where he lost his upgrades or whatnot. But what's it called?
That was his dad.
Oh, okay. So right, it was their dad. Basically, I guess you could consider that a divorce technically. But.
No, he's a widow then. Oh God.
Yeah, I guess so. But listen, the movie was absolutely fantastic. There were so many different redeemable qualities about the movie. Phoenix mentioned character development a lot. That's definitely something in there.
Development.
Yes, development. The humor was very witty. The score for that movie, like the soundtrack. If you haven't heard the soundtrack yet, soundtrack is also very, very good for what it is. And thank you, Papa John's, for telling me I need pizza right now. But what's it called? Yeah, because I'm gonna get random ads on Hito on Hito Streamwise. But what's it called? Robots was just great. You know, it had like all the predictable qualities of the heroes hating the villains, but the whole story was just not in the way that you would expect. I mean, I don't think you would have expected that right off the bat. You know, robot parents had to build their own babies, and that's how they become quote unquote parents. But it's actually more ingenious than you think when you
like that whole joke thing. You missed the delivery, but it's okay. Making the baby's the fun part. And then they had that classic 70s porno theme. Like,
dude. I know, and then the title of the movie the actual title of the movie comes up. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, no, that title was actually really cool because they actually built the letters individually as they made the title.
Well, yeah, right, exactly. They even the way the title was introduced was actually formatted really well. Because usually what will happen with most movies nowadays is most movies will just throw up their title somewhere at some point and not in a very creative way. But for what Robots was, they even did that really well.
Yeah,
and
they animated the title.
Yeah, and then you just watch the whole movie really well with Aunt Fanny's thick booty, but. You know, if you can get past that, the whole movie is just an absolute treasure to watch.
Like
really
my two favorite lines from that movie were hands down. I know the city like the back of my hand. Hey, that's new.
Yeah, exactly. And also we keep talking about Aunt Fanny a lot, but shout outs to their actual voice actor Jennifer Coolidge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, hands down, no. Aunt Fanny was a joy in that movie. Everyone was a joy. And as much as I love Robin Williams, it was still Robin Williams. So that's why he's the best character in the movie. But very close second from Aunt Fanny because it was just, you know, it was a mixture of like that wacky, kooky aunt, but at the same time, it was that loving, caring aunt that everyone absolutely adored. And, you know, I really love that whole trope of her taking everyone in. And like you said about how the whole movie was predictable, but not doing it in a way you'd expect. At the same time, we were able to determine everything that happened just before it happened. But even though we were able to, we still enjoyed seeing that happening.
Make room.
Right. And this might sound a little dark, but my favorite character probably has to be Fender just because he got wrecked so much in that movie. And I mean, he almost died, by the way.
Yeah, no.
He legitimately almost died in that movie, but I think I actually found him my favorite character just because as a kid I enjoyed seeing him getting wrecked. If I were to look back now as a kid, I probably wouldn't have laughed so much at it, but just back then, the way Fender was just always getting destroyed by something, whether it was the sweeper machines or whether it was almost getting melted down into something else, and then ultimately actually losing his other half of him at the end of the movie was just super funny to me.
And him becoming Britney Spears was just hilarious.
Well, yeah, true. He became Britney Spears, and I mean, technically, his new bottom half could have made him Britney Spears partially.
I mean, yeah, no, but it's just like. I think that at the end of the day, Fender was just was basically a what's the word? Not a representative. He represented.
But yeah, I was gonna say like a core character, a core companion to Rodney.
Well, not just that, but he really represented, you know, not letting life keep you down. You just keep getting back up.
Yeah, that's true. Even when your legs don't work like they used to before, but you know.
Oh my God! Stop.
When your legs don't work like they used to before. And you can't get out
and-
from Fanny's butt.
Yeah, now don't get us wrong. We like Rodney as the main character. Okay, Rodney was a
absolutely.
great Rodney is a great starting character.
Rodney's the
But,
protagonist.
but let's just say the plot thickens as the movie goes on, and so do the characters. Quite literally,
Especially Aunt Fanny. She thickens.
especially Aunt Fanny.
I am still watching this movie after we're done with this.
Oh my
Like
God.
hands down, I'm
Oh,
watch this movie
again, shout outs to Jennifer Coolidge.
So funny enough, my favorite Blue Skies movie is Rio.
How dare you?
To be honest, though, Rio's a really good one too.
Oh
Exactly.
yeah, absolutely.
So you know what? If I agreed with you doing robots, y'all already described robots twice. Let me talk about Rio. Fucking Christ.
I mean, to be fair, Hito, you could have just said, "Yeah, they literally took the words out of my mouth. Robots is also my favorite." But
Exactly.
But I want to be different. Okay.
Oh, okay. No, listen, you can be different. I'm just saying, if you wanted to be like us, that is exactly how you would have presented
It's
it.
okay,
Yeah.
Hito. You're titled to your wrong opinion. No, let me stop.
Yeah, yeah, that's why Blue Skies closed down because Disney bought them.
Oh my god.
All right. So I like Rio, and I'm kind of partial to Rio because I kind of like the stories where the predator gets what they fucking deserve. Their ass whooped and them just completely maimed. Rio had birds. I'm not the biggest bird fan. That would be Waffles, but seeing the movie again, it was very witty. I loved it, especially about the bird migration, because it kind of gave me that episode of Family Guy where the birds were in the truck still in the V, but they were just sitting down. And we're just having a conversation where they're like, hey, have you ever had those striped red and white buckets before? It's really good stuff. That's bird. You're eating bird. Like, it was giving me that type of vibe, and I'm like, I love that whole thing with Rio. It was really good. It definitely went to bird migration quite often, and sad enough, there is some talk that they're trying to stop the extinction of those blue macaws, because the Rio bird, aka the blue macaws, those were going extinct. So they're slowly trying to like make sure that they are not going extinct. They're endangered right now, but they're slowly trying to make sure that bird migration actually moves forward. And I like to think that the movie did a little something to, like, you know, hey, the blue macaws are actually going extinct. Can you save them? Otherwise, you're letting Rio and his whole family down. Just saying.
Yeah, no, that was kind of like just like really dirty of him. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I love the character of Julio, but it's just like that was really dirty of him. Here, let's literally force your bird to smash this other bird non-consensually, or the whole species is gonna die. Okay, thanks.
Pretty much. But technically speaking, yeah, it was a serious topic that went into the blue macaws going extinct, which was great. But also, it's kind of one of those situations where it's like, you ever hear the expression, "I will never sleep with you, even if you were the last man on earth"? It was kind of that. It was kind of that.
2 days later, let's smash.
Just, and then because of that movie, I started like editing a whole bunch of things with the Becky Let Me Smash sound effects.
She don't want blue.
Yeah,
Becky,
dude,
I got stick. Becky, let me smash.
Dude, that man, that's gonna be that meme just turned into something that the world will just never forget, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But Rio was a really beautiful movie, but of course,
And the music of Rio. Oh my gosh, the music.
Dude, the music in Rio, the cast was actually really fun too, because if to my knowledge, Jesse Eisenberg played Blue. Anne Hathaway was Jewel. I think George Lopez was the dog, right? The
Yes,
bulldog?
yes.
Yep.
George Lopez was the dog, and you had like Will.i.am and Jamie Foxx in there as those two city birds. Jermaine Clement. Yeah, exactly. Jermaine Clement was Big Bad Nigel.
Big bad predator Nigel.
Yep.
Somebody kick that. Yeah, just somebody kick that bird.
Yeah, I will say I have seen that movie at least a couple times at this point, and it's pretty great. And in fact, I remember too, because we used to be a big mobile gamer at the time, that Blue Sky Studios actually did a partnership with I forgot the name of the company that works on Angry Birds. Yes, they made an Angry Birds Rio game, which was actually
I played that.
But yeah, it was, and you could probably say it was very faithful to the original movie, huh?
Oh, absolutely.
If you're a mobile gamer,
I-
you're not a gamer. I'm just saying. I'm kidding.
No,
I'm kidding.
Hey man,
kidding.
hey
I'm
man,
kidding.
hey man,
No,
hey man,
fuck.
what's wrong with flinging Red the Bird at Nigel? Like,
Man,
that's
Hito,
my
man,
question.
See, look, see.
That's my question.
No, I was just saying that to see what your reaction was. I'm just fucking with you. Listen, I'm as stuffed.
Better be.
Listen, I'm as stuffed as the chicken turkey. We're good. Come on. Anyway, our next, I had to say Christmas turkey. My bad. I said chicken
Okay.
turkey.
I was
Yes.
gonna say, what are you stuffing that turducken with, buddy?
I was
All
gonna
right.
say the turducken has already been stuffed with enough, but you know.
That's fair.
Yeah, for real.
So, what was the very first Blue Sky movie you saw? And I'm starting with Titus on this one.
I think I can literally answer this question the same way I did with the last one, which was in fact robots. Yeah, I don't know. Robots just as something in my childhood, it was honestly special. It's what introduced me to Blue Sky Studios and would eventually get me to watch, some of the Ice Age movies, Rio.
No.
Rio got a C.
No, Titus,
yeah.
I want you to take us back to 2003 or 2005 when it came out.
Oh,
And it was in the
you
theaters.
do you just want me to talk about that?
Yeah, just like let's take it back to, the early 2000s. When before we had the tragedy that was Sonic 06. Just take us there. Just take us there.
Oh yes, Sonic 06, my favorite Blue Skies movie. What's it called? Well, the thing is, I didn't watch it in theaters. I watched Robots on Blu-ray DVD. So I can't. So I mean, I can imagine though that for people watching Robots in theaters back in 2005, it was probably a surreal experience. Now, I don't know if 3D. I don't know if 3D existed back then, but boy, if you saw it in 3D, it was kind of a trip, especially when Rodney and Fender were literally rolling inside a ball together all the way to Big Weld City.
That in
I couldn't watch it in 3D. My mom has vertigo, and we weren't able to do that.
and Fanny in 3D.
That's
But I
fair,
did
very
watch
fair.
it in theaters. I did watch Robots in theaters, and that also was the first one I watched that got me into Blue Sky.
Again, I was too young to watch it in theaters. I was only 3 years old. I don't think I saw Robots until I was like 8.
I will say this: Aunt Fanny in 3D,
Oh God!
backed up
Oh,
right
man.
there. All right.
Technically, Jennifer Coolidge's persona in 3D, but yes.
I actually did go back with my older brother and watched it in 3D a couple weeks after we watched it in regularly. And oh my God, seeing Aunt Fanny back up towards us in 3D, not only was it glorious, but everyone in the theater was dying.
Beat, 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 beat. There we go. There's the bumper.
I could imagine that scene in particular was very comedic. I think I would have loved to. Again, I never saw this in theaters, but I would have actually loved to have seen just Rodney and Fender traveling in a ball, going crazy all the way to Big Weld City in 3D. I think that would have been cool.
Sorry about that.
So Phoenix, you said your first was also Robots, but did you see?
Yeah,
it
my first was also
But you
Robots.
saw it in the theater.
I did see it in the theater. Yeah, twice.
Okay.
Once
So
regularly and once in 3D.
okay, so tell us about like 8 to probably 12-year-old Phoenix in the movie theater with their popcorn and almond joys.
I was 9, so when it first came out, around that time, the month it came out, there was really nothing else to watch, and at the time, my family was still homeless, but someone had given us some free passes to the movies. And there were a bunch, but we couldn't use them all in the same day. So we went to see Robots regularly because my mom wanted to see it too because it looked funny. And the biggest thing was that Robin Williams was in it, and we all wanted to go see a new Robin Williams movie. So we all went and saw Robots in theaters. It was amazing. We were all laughing so hard. My mom actually, at the end, wound up having an asthma attack because of how hard she was laughing. And my brother Aaron at the time literally had to support me because I was laughing so hard. Literally had to practically carry me outside the theater. It was honestly one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. It was quite an experience. being able to see such an iconic movie in the theaters, and that's really what brought me on to Blue Sky Studios. We wound up getting a couple other DVDs. At that time, we got the only other one at that time was, I think, Ice Age was the only other Blue Sky Studios movie out at the time.
Man,
it
almost makes me feel bad that Disney did what they did.
Shut up.
Almost.
But yeah, honestly, back in the mid 2000s, late 2000s, early 2010s, the biggest thing was everyone had a gigantic DVD collection, and when later on, when more Blue Sky Studios movies came out, every time we would, because we couldn't afford to go to the movies like that, we would always make sure we got it on DVD as soon as it came out.
No, that's fair. I can actually attest to that. I don't know how many times I brought up the story about me going to Blockbuster with my mom, how she would want a new movie every time, but she'll get like the pre-owned stuff. So, it wouldn't be anything. She'll get like 4 movies in Blockbuster all the time. And I was happy to see Robots there at one point because I remember we saw it in the theater. But the biggest one for me, the first one I ever saw, was the original Ice Age, which had Raymond from Everybody Loves Raymond. I forgot Ray Romano. Had Robert De Niro as this dude, the freaking Sabretooth. Diego, I believe his name was.
Yeah, Diego.
Like Robert
that was Dennis Leary, right?
No, Robert De Niro.
What? Wait, Robert De Niro.
No, I think it was Dennis Leary.
Dennis Leary or Robert. I think for the first
one.
Wait.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, for the first one, because he had a VA change.
It was Dennis Leary.
Okay, so yeah, there you go. I didn't remember, but yes, I do remember seeing in the first theater. I remember this because this was a weird time in my life where my father wanted to spend more time with me, and he wanted me to. He kind of like. It's like, spend time with your family. And I'm like, but I don't want to. They scare me. They still do. Don't hate them, just they scare me.
Majority of my family is a bunch of rednecks.
I don't think we could use that word on Twitch.
Fair enough.
I'll have to bleep it out in the edit. I'm kidding. No, I won't. But what I was going to say was so during this family time, we went to Red Lobster, and for some reason, I still remember this. We were in a limo to the movie theater. I don't know why we were on a limo. I don't remember why. I just know we were in a limo. And it was weird. It was confusing. And I'm like, oh, we're getting in a big car? Cool. At the time, I didn't register it, but then going back to that memory now, I'm like, no one died, and it wasn't a fancy event. Why the fuck were we in a limo? Anyway, we finally get to the movie theater, and we're finally seeing Ice Age. This, I believe, was the time when my cousin was just born. Literally just born, fresh out of the hospital. Not gonna say the other thing, because ill. But yes,
fresh out the hospital.
But fresh out the hospital, I believe a month or 2 old, and we went literally to see Ice Age. I'm like, this movie's gonna be funny, I hope. Ray Romano's in it, because I knew who Ray Romano was, because back then I didn't have cable, and I would watch reruns of Friends and Frasier and Everybody Loves Raymond, and all of those other old shows. So I knew who Ray Romano was. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be great. And I'm like, wow, he's such an asshole in this movie. And I'm like,
he kind of was, yeah.
Which I'm like, God, he's not like the bad husband type of asshole. He's more of the, yep, I'm tired of your shit and I will say what I have to say type of asshole. And I was like, oh crap, I was not expecting this.
I remembered that Ray Romano was very brutally honest with how his characters acted in Ice Age.
Yeah, and that one time, the mistake you make of calling him fat, it's just he will literally pick you up with his truck and boom, boom, boom. He's like, I'm not fat. It's all this fur. It makes me look poofy.
Yeah, literally, he had the Choji rage, if you call him fat. And funny enough, I could technically say that because Naruto and Ice Age came out the same year, 2002. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Ow.
Yeah.
Ray Romano playing Choji. Now I'm picturing it, and so are you.
Also, we never got to see whatever happened to the baby.
Oh, the Ice Age baby that people kept memeing about.
Yeah, like the Ice Age baby, we saw all of what happened. I think we finally returned to the parents, but I don't know whatever happened to the baby. I never saw like the fourth or fifth movie. But all I know is that the Ice Age happened. They had a meltdown, and things were getting cool. And Sid was trying to take a leadership charge at some point, and then dinosaurs came, and I was like, wow, they're really going in. But just a sentiment of this. Last year, I actually saw that 4D movie with Scrat trying to get his nut through time travel. Through time travel. By the way,
I just looked it up. Apparently, the fate of what happened to the kid is unknown. Apparently, we do know his mother's name, though. His mother's name was Nadia, which is interesting. I didn't know that. But we don't actually know what happened to the baby. There's no canonical reason.
Yep.
Blue Sky Studios never put it out. But when I looked it up, apparently the main headcanon is he grew up to be Nicolas Cage's character in The Croods.
I'm done. Well, actually, no, that actually does make sense when you think about it, but then also The Croods is it's DreamWorks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, The Croods is like not relevant to this.
Like,
No, I know, but still, it's funny.
like
It's a funny.
And then, I mean,
Also-
just as an off topic, The Croods got a sequel, right?
Also, thank you for the follow. I don't announce who it is only because I like to keep it anonymous if you're just here to chill. So, thank you. Just want to be, like, very respectable about that. Also, I realized my alerts were off, so, that's a
How
fun
could you,
thing.
Hito?
Listen, I
How
don't...
could you?
Yes, but I don't like to out people when they're coming in here because, I want them
No,
to...
I meant the alerts. How could you leave the alerts off?
Okay, you know what? Here you go. You want an alert? Here's an alert. Come on. Oh, we're just
Let's
gonna...
get it.
Oh, we're just... Oh, there we go.
Oh, if
wait.
you played it in...
Does
Yeah, I
anyone hear it?
had the stream muted.
Oh, no. Does anyone...
I-
Oh, no. I don't see it.
I don't see it either. I think the text just came up.
Yeah, that's... Oh, my God. That's sad. Jesus. We need to have those fixed. Hold on a sec. Why are we doing this today? Why are we not participating in class activities?
I don't know, but technically we can't touch your stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you won't let us because, you don't...
You
know,
broke...
you're-
Because you broke it last time.
I did not. I touched it, saved it. Someone else bumped into the table and it fell off. Don't lie on me.
No, you broke it. It's fine. It's
No,
okay.
no,
It's
no,
cool.
no, no. I pulled an Aunt Fanny on it, okay? My
Yeah,
butt
exactly.
accidentally knocked it over. Okay? It was an
Exactly.
accident. I pulled an Aunt Fanny and rear-ended it.
But yeah, so did you guys...
Oh, it's too early for this.
It's never too early for Aunt Fanny.
Oh, no, it's too early for Titus.
Well, no, it's too early for Aunt Fanny and rear-ended jokes.
That's fair.
Nah.
But I will say this though, I did see the recent short, which goes to my next question, but I want to answer it first because this was an interesting one. I saw the 4D version of Scrat travels through time to get his nut, and this was only an aquarium exclusive until I think they actually started streaming it then afterwards. But this was an aquarium exclusive where you would sit down in the chair and not only is it in 3D, but it's in 4D. So you feel like water being sprayed on you, air being blown under your feet, all that stuff to basically like match like, oh, you're actually in this freaking movie. And honestly, my first reaction to this happening is when something brushed up, I'm like, is that a fucking cat? I actually screamed that in the theater with all the kids there. Cause mind you, this was when I was working with the kids and...
No!
My coworker, I literally got nervous because something touched my leg. I don't like when things touch my leg in a dark room. You know what I mean? Like that's freaking creepy. I'm like, the fuck is that?
You know what's funny, Hito? That exact line that you said is actually a meme now. Like I think there actually is a meme where somebody thinks that this is a cat and like, is that a cat? And
Yeah.
it's an act. I think you know what I'm talking about.
I know what
right?
you're talking about. I showed it to Phoenix. It was the cat video where the guy's like, Ma, is that a
Ma,
fucking
there's a
cat?
weird fucking cat outside! Blink, motherfucker!
It looks like grandma, the poor fucking thing.
No, but what I don't get is why they call it 4D when the fourth dimension is time. Wouldn't that technically just be interactive 3D?
No, so the thing is, the reason why it's called 3D is because it comes to your face, but 4D is when you're feeling everything happening at the same time as
But
the
the fourth
movie.
dimension is time.
Again, you're feeling everything that happens at the time of the movie.
Okay, but the fourth dimension is the time vortex, okay?
He's not getting what I'm saying. I just
the
answered
movie-
I just answered the question.
Do you expect me to little Einstein's my booty into space?
We're going on a trip in our favorite rocket ship, Disney bought out Universal Studios.
You're gonna make yourself cry now. I didn't even do it.
No,
though.
because
I didn't even do it this time.
I was gonna say because now little Einsteins and Ice Age are now officially in the same universe.
Oh my god. No, what I'm
Oh
saying
my
is
god, no! How could you?
no, but the reason why they
I mean,
call
they
it
really
4D
are, though.
because at the time of the movie, when you're in the movie, you're literally feeling all of the effects of the time in that movie. Does that
would
make
be-
sense?
But that would be the dimension of space, which is the fifth.
But you're also feeling it at the same time as the movie. So technically
Then that
speaking,
would be 5D!
Phoenix physics fire over here.
Okay, when you're feeling something, that's a physical sensation, which puts it in the dimension of space, not time.
But
So
you're-
technically speaking, it'd be 5D. Card games on motorcycles.
no. I knew I was going there, but no. The reason, it should be, it technically should be called 5D. I think it was called 5D. I'm probably bugging at the same time because not only did it follow the time of the movie for all the effects to happen, it followed literally the space of the movie, and you felt everything.
Yeah, so that'd be 5D.
I want to get punched by something in a movie one time just to see how it feels and see if I can punch it back. I just want to punch it back.
Now just imagine being the guy, the usher in a 5D movie when you're getting punched in the face and he literally has to go up to every single person, just lock him across the jaw.
Just like,
and
no.
not get punched back.
All
Just
right.
like, and that's how you get fired day one.
But yeah, that's my favorite Blue Sky short. So now I ask the question, what is your favorite Blue Sky short? And I swear to God, I already know what the answer is probably. But please digress for me.
Me?
Yeah, both of you. I think I probably know what both your favorite shorts are.
Aunt Betty's Tour Booty.
There you go. The one that sounds like a porno. There you go.
Listen, it's funny. All she's literally doing is I don't remember. It's been so long since I've seen it, but I think that's where she was literally just trying to find her ass. I think someone stole her ass, and she literally goes around trying to find it.
Bow chicka wow, bow chicka wow.
Oh my fucking god, Hito!
Oh,
That's what it is. That's all I heard is you said that. This bow chicka ow, bow chicka chicka ow.
You're about to be saying "ow" in a second.
Yeah, we'll try that. Anyway, Titus, your favorite short from Blue Skies?
oh boy. All right. Well, I have not seen many shorts from Blue Skies at all. I've mainly seen the movies from Blue Sky, and I know we were actually talking about this right before we got on for this, but I said I've only seen the first two Blue Skies full-length movies. The one short that comes to mind, like this is the only short that I can even remember watching, because any other shorts I've forgotten about it. But the one short that I remember watching, which I guess I might as well say is my favorite, was the Ice Age Christmas special that came out.
Oh my god, that was great.
I was about to say, I'm like,
Yeah,
this.
that was. I felt like that was actually an underrated gem in the Ice Age series. Now, personally, I don't know how much I can say that because I've only seen the first two movies, and to be honest, I should probably go see the other three just so I know what I was missing out on. But I remember that that this was basically about Sid the Sloth, who arguably might be a lot of people's favorite character in the movie. He was basically the hero who actually had to save, or he had to remove himself from Santa's naughty list, right? It was him that he had to get himself off the naughty list. Yeah, so he had to make himself nice so he could actually get himself an actual good Christmas present. And I remember too that this was the time where they had Billy Gardell, the famous comedian, as Santa Claus. Like that was a time. I didn't know for the longest time that Billy Gardell was actually Santa Claus, but I actually found this out like years after I saw that short. And at first I was trying to remember who Billy Gardell is, but then then my family went through a whole like Mike and Molly phase, and then I was like, oh yeah, okay, now I know who Billy Gardell is. And oddly enough, that's how I know him, because our family saw so much Mike and Molly.
EW is the best.
By the way, I'm just gonna have to say, I thought for a second all that buildup that Titus was with, like the one movie that I remember in particular from my childhood, because I only saw this movie and that movie. It was the greatest one that I've ever seen. I was gonna just go straight into I thought he was gonna just go into Aunt Fanny. I'm like, I swear to God, all this buildup, it better not be Aunt Fanny.
No, listen.
I'm the one that builds up the gas.
Listen, I'm sure the Aunt Fanny special was great, but apparently I have never seen it. I didn't even know it was a thing until you two brought it up, which I should probably go see it.
The 4-minute special, so.
No.
Oh, okay. I mean, then it's probably it's not that long of a watch at all.
See, the reason,
because
now I would show off these shorts if Disney didn't own them.
well, yeah, that's true. Like, what's it called? And wasn't like A Man with Christmas actually pretty long for a short?
It was like 20-something minutes, so yeah, it was pretty long for.
But yeah, I was gonna say it was pretty long.
I'm pretty sure Man with Christmas also took place. I think it was. Was it after 3 or after 2?
I mean, if it took place after 2, that makes a lot of sense. If it took place after 3, I somehow skipped 3 and then saw A Man with Christmas special. But I like I said, I might just go on a binge day one of these days and like actually finish watching the Ice Age series just to know.
I might just binge the entire Ice Age series too.
I'm seriously considering just doing that while I'm in college, just so that I know what I missed out on. Because people are probably wringing my neck right now for not finishing the whole series prior to this.
Listen, you're fine.
I haven't seen them all either, so
neither have I. So that kind of does there. Like, and if you want to wring Titus's necks, you're gonna have to wring my fat neck first. So just saying.
I couldn't wrap my hands around your neck, Hito.
You have a neck.
I'm literally 90% neck here.
Like a giraffe.
I know, dude. Like, oh shit, what is it? What was it like? Melman the giraffe from Madagascar?
Yeah.
Which is funny because that's like, it's funny because Madagascar is like almost canon to Ice Age, but not really.
Well, 2 different companies. That's DreamWorks.
I know that's the
no,
sad
I know,
part.
but it's just if you were to show me those movies side by side and not tell me what the company was, or if I didn't know what the company was, you probably couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah, they really have a lot of similarities. I honestly think Madagascar borrowed a lot from Ice Age.
Yeah, they definitely did. I will say this though, controversy.
But yeah, Madagascar did come out.
So now
a
little controversy. Which one do you think did it better? And I'm gonna give like each a genre, like each a portion of like what a movie's supposed to be when it comes to like story and basically all together. So what we're going to do is essentially, I'm going to say DreamWorks versus Blue Sky Studios. And when I say one thing, it's gonna go into which one do you think is better when it came to that certain topic. So right now we're in a DreamWorks versus Blue Sky Studios debunk. Let's do this. All right.
Okay.
So, first one from Blue Skies versus DreamWorks. Story.
Wait, I'm sorry. What was the question?
Storytelling.
I was just responding to somebody in the chat.
Yeah, no problem. So I'm doing DreamWorks versus Blue Sky. I'm going to be bringing up a subject for each of their movies, and you're going to say which one is better. So, starting with Blue Sky versus DreamWorks, storytelling.
I'd honestly have to give that to DreamWorks because they've got things like Prince of Egypt. They've got things like oh wait, no, that was Pixar. I honestly would have to give it to DreamWorks though, because DreamWorks has a lot more movies with just like in-depth story, like movies about stories.
Okay, but here's the depth of it though. Are the stories memorable to you immediately, or do you think some of them fell off just a little bit?
I think that both sides have some stories that fell off. Like neither side is perfect. But I think the reason that the Blue Sky Studios movies are a little more memorable is because they didn't have as many as DreamWorks did. So when they fell off, it was a bit more noticeable. But when they succeeded, it was more noticeable because there's not as many to mess up as DreamWorks had. DreamWorks had a lot of flops.
I was gonna say because since Blue Sky Studios made less movies than DreamWorks, that means that they were more at risk of being pointed out when a movie wasn't doing good, or being praised more when a movie actually did really good. With DreamWorks, it's like they're making a movie basically every year, every 2 years. I mean, for God's sake, they just announced Kung Fu Panda 4, and that's coming out like 2 years from now. Because apparently the Kung Fu Panda series hasn't died yet. It's probably one of the most popular series of all time. And I will say the first Kung Fu Panda movie's plot was actually very memorable to me. I do remember what happens at the end, but then again, I can probably say that for the whole Kung Fu Panda series in general. But maybe other people can't say the same thing. Like maybe people just remember the first movie because the first movie is arguably the best since it's Poe's origin story. But then maybe for other people, 2 and 3 kind of just fell off because 2 is just about Poe being the hero, and then we see that yet again in 3. It's like it's kind of the delivery is the same, just the way it happens between each movie is different, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and the reason that's why I also got to still give story to DreamWorks is because DreamWorks, because of the amount of movies they made, could afford to take risks. Blue Skies couldn't do that because they weren't as big a company. They didn't have as many movies, so they couldn't take as many risks. So because they were able to take more risks, they were able to get better successes. Like, for example, like in the Blue Sky movies, yeah, you can remember some lines because there were some good lines. But if you were to go over to DreamWorks, you'd be able to remember more because they were able to take bigger risks and make more memorable lines, more memorable stories, and more memorable characters. Don't get me wrong, I love Blue Skies, but I got to give it to DreamWorks because they were able to take more risks in terms of storytelling.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm actually gonna choose Blue Sky over DreamWorks, and here's my reasoning. Because Blue Sky had to work diligently to make sure their movies were memorable to begin with, and didn't have the luxury of taking the risk like DreamWorks would, making a whole bunch of sequels that probably shouldn't even exist at this point. Let's be honest, we've had sequels in DreamWorks movies that were like, why the fuck is this a sequel?
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck is this a sequel?
And I completely agree with you on that.
Because mind you, just because having those risks and having the funds to spend to make those risks does not mean that those risks usually pay off. I can say
but a
that
lot of them did.
Let me finish. The reason why they didn't pull off is because I can literally list off more than 10 sequels out of DreamWorks' main storylines that should not even be there. And hell, 5 main movies that do not even like get any spotlight at all. There's been a lot.
I was gonna say I can probably name at least a couple of movies that I've seen and have probably like fallen out of my brain, ever since I saw them years ago.
Like I'll even say it even more to say on this one. I think because Blue Skies had to work diligently for their movies, they took more time and there was more love, care, and nurture to the storytelling, as opposed to DreamWorks, where they were willing to throw away money just to make a sequel for a cash grab. Honestly, here's the thing, and I think Titus actually wrapped it up really well. When it came to Kung Fu Panda, as an example, you mentioned 2 and 3 are pretty much the same plot, just with a different villain.
Yes, and then Poe ultimately has to save China in a different way than he usually did from the first movie. It branched out.
Yes, but here's the thing though. It's still essentially the same movie. Poe has to basically save.
I mean, yes, it does. It's just what ends up happening after the first movie is that Poe just has previously more experience than before. He basically levels up as a main character and then ultimately either goes insane or has to make the ultimate sacrifice, to save everybody. Because I know in 3 he actually almost wasn't good. He actually almost died in a very interesting way. And for those of you that have seen Kung Fu Panda 3, you know exactly what I'm talking about. He almost died in an interesting way if it wasn't for his actual family being there to save him.
And that's actually the scary part on that one, because of the fact that I feel that the movies suffer a little bit from what I like to call Dragon Ball Z syndrome.
No, I do agree with both points on this, but I gotta say, even though it's practically the same movie, they still did it well. Is my point. Even though it's the same movie twice in a row, it was still a good movie both times, and I've watched both of them multiple times. I love both of them multiple times because it's a good story they're telling.
But that's the thing. We got to think about it from a point of not just us enjoying the movie, but more on how that universally did. And I saw the sales for Kung Fu Panda 3. Remember, we had that little sales thing looking through all the movies last time on DreamWorks, on our previous Retrogade when we were looking at DreamWorks. That one got one of the lowest scores when it came to selling any type of thing. And that's the problem. Like I said before, DreamWorks can throw away money when it comes to doing that, and sometimes it's not a good payoff.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Sometimes it doesn't pay off.
And that's kind of why I said, that's kind of where I come into it, and that's why I still feel the story for Blue Skies, in total, had a better outcome for their movies to be memorable, because they had to work tirelessly to make sure that the movie had the punchlines, that it had the storytelling. Mm-hmm. Ooh, that was a burp. It happens when I'm right. I dropped the mic. I'm joking.
I'm sorry.
No,
Is
you're
that your
not right.
version
You're
of a mic drop
outnumbered.
now?
You're outnumbered. Me and Titus versus you.
No, but continue what I was saying. Because the fact that they didn't have all that money to throw away, it made them have to put in that extra. It had to make them literally work extra hard and tirelessly to make sure that the movie was memorable, that you could remember it, that you could pull it out from the section like, I remember that movie. Meanwhile, when it came to DreamWorks, and we were doing the list for that example, there were some of these movies I never even heard about, or correction, were completely under the radar that we have forgotten. And that was for some of the sequels and for some of the main movies. And that's a problem, because I actually, looking at like a majority of Blue Sky movies, I recognize them. I recognize each and every one of them because of the fact that they work tirelessly to the story, and it was great, as opposed to DreamWorks, who had a whole bunch of sequels and sometimes even main movies that I'm like, when the fuck did they make this? And I watched both tirelessly. I've watched both movies. I've watched at least both companies' movies at least once. I remember Blue Sky more over DreamWorks, and that's kind of why I say Blue Sky over DreamWorks, because that's where I feel like their movies are more memorable. Their storytelling is more memorable because they had to work hard for that.
I think that the reason I agree with you that the reason the Blue Skies movies are more memorable is because there weren't as many and they had to work harder to make them good. But I still think that DreamWorks has more memorable storytelling as opposed to the story. Like, for example, the difference between, I don't know, but the difference between Robots and The Prince of Egypt, for example. Robots, as Titus and I said earlier, has a very predictable story, and we still love it that way. But Prince of Egypt, even though it's based on a Bible story, took a lot of twists and turns we weren't expecting, and it paid off. It was a more memorable story because they could afford to go bigger, they could afford to go more extravagant. That's what I remember seeing more. I remember them both, but I remember Prince of Egypt being more over the top, not just because they could afford to, but because the story allowed them to.
Mm-hmm. And if we're gonna, sorry, I'll just go ahead and talk for a second. If we're also gonna go off the eye of the general public, I think to the majority of movie watchers, I think DreamWorks is the more familiar and iconic movie studio. Mm-hmm. Now, don't get me wrong. When Big Sky, when that's a ABC series, we don't talk about that one. But when Blue Sky Studios has a hit, they have a hit, and people will notice it, right? Mm-hmm. Like maybe people will actually forget about DreamWorks for a bit and actually come and watch Blue Sky Studios because of how big of a hit it is. But it's the exact opposite for their flops. Like when Blue Sky has a flop, people are going to be like, I'll go probably watch like a DreamWorks movie or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I mean,
they have a flop.
Well, yeah, right. And then you might be able to say the same thing about DreamWorks. But the thing is that if DreamWorks has a flop, the fans are actually kind of optimistic that maybe the next movie, and like if we're talking about sequels wise, they're hoping that the next movie in that series will actually do better. You know, and I can't recall that Blue Sky actually has a whole lot of sequels for that matter, besides maybe Ice Age and Rio, maybe besides a lot of their shorts or whatnot. So the thing is that even though DreamWorks may not have a whole lot of sequels that honestly do well, like as for us, right? Maybe we enjoy the sequels, but maybe to the general public, they were just absolute garbage. And I mean that's okay for a giant studio like DreamWorks. And I mean, and again, we all love Blue Sky here. It's just Blue Sky just didn't have what DreamWorks had. They didn't have the resources that DreamWorks had to be able to keep producing, I guess, more movies that were hits, let alone whenever they made sequels, the sequels probably weren't as good as the originals. I mean, Hito, you mentioned that your favorite Blue Sky Studios movie is Rio,
Yeah.
and we haven't even talked about the sequel yet because they did make a sequel to that movie. And well, I can tell you right now, as much as I actually enjoyed the sequel is definitely not as good as the original.
No, and
No,
it's
no,
not.
it's
And
not.
I barely remember anything from the sequel. That's the problem. Like with DreamWorks sequels, even if they're flops, you remember those sequels. But with the flops of Blue Sky, you don't really remember them as well.
and this is the problem. This is the problem with this whole theory right now. The situation is, again, DreamWorks had the resources to do whatever they want. They were the rich kid that could throw away the money that they wanted to. Blue Skies was a little bit more, again, had to be resourceful and had to work with what they did. And again,
I agree.
And again, this is another problem. When it came to storytelling, just because you have a whole bunch of sequels does not equate to being a good storyteller. Especially if you need to have a whole bunch of sequels.
Sage.
Why are you saying Sage?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I said Ice Age.
Oh, yeah,
Ice
yeah.
Age-
He was like, no. Phoenix was trying to be like cough, cough, Ice Age, cough, cough.
Yeah, no, that's not. There's a big difference for that one. And here's the real difference on that one. Ice Age had shorts and a whole bunch of other things to go with it. That was their token boy. Just like at one point DreamWorks was Shrek. And they're still making Shrek stuff. They're still doing all kinds of things and bleeding it out. That's their bleed out. They deserve to. I will say at least each studio deserves one bleed out. Let's be fair. DreamWorks has Shrek, and they rode that shit. They rode that shit ride or die. You know that is correct.
Yeah, and Blue Sky has Ice Age. Ice Age was their bleed out. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and in fact, there's a Puss in Boots sequel coming out after over like.
Yeah, the final
There you go.
Puss in Boots sequel. So like we're finally get to see him what he does on his final life.
To make things even more of a like hit in there, that's the thing that DreamWorks have. They have what I like to call Konami syndrome, where they like to bleed out. Yeah, I have a whole bunch of terms. Trust me, I'll continue this. Where they'll bleed out a series to its maximum point that they'll actually dehydrate the other series that they have, that they could be actually establishing story for. And that's
Not
where
gonna lie.
And that's where it goes to my next topic. When it comes to the next thing versus Blue Sky and DreamWorks, which was strategic marketing for each movie.
I think I'm gonna have to give this one to Blue Sky for the same reason I had to give it to DreamWorks, because Blue Sky couldn't afford to go for that strategic marketing as much as they could. They played to their strengths, but DreamWorks was just tossing money away for strategic marketing that really had no impact. Blue Sky's marketing, they really played up their movies as they should have. But DreamWorks just like, let them enjoy it when they see the movie. Their marketing was kind of meh because they wanted the majority of the love to come from the movie and they wanted them to go in dark. Blue Sky, on the other hand, was honest about what you were going to see in that movie for each of those trailers and each of their marketing techniques. So I got to give it to Blue Sky because they were straight up and honest about what you were going to see, and they still made it as big as they could for like their trailers. That's just me though.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, yeah. I will say, I mean, I saw a pretty fair amount of advertisements from both companies. I mean, I might have to give this one to Blue Sky too, actually. But it's a little bit of a tough call for me because I know that Blue Sky and DreamWorks. I mean, I will say again, because Blue Sky had less movies to work with, but the fact that they were pumping out just probably about as many trailers, if not more than DreamWorks, is probably a commendable feat. You know, because they just didn't have as much to promote as DreamWorks did, and that was just a fact. It goes back to us saying that they didn't have as many resources to use as DreamWorks. But it is a little bit of a tough call though, because I remembered as a kid, I remembered especially when Rio was like going to come out in theaters, I kept seeing a ton of trailers for that. I think How to Train Your Dragon was coming out around that time. If I'm wrong about that, I guess someone can correct me.
No,
But
I can actually attest to that. Rio was competing with How to Train Your Dragons, and How to Train Your Dragons is one of the most beloved movies for DreamWorks. And
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just like Blue Sky was able to keep up, was able to have a movie about birds keep up with a movie about dragons.
yeah, and you know what? I'll bring up this point too, right? Statistically speaking, now I don't know if this is actually true or not, but statistically speaking, if you were going to compare a movie about dragons to a movie about birds, you'd think, oh, the movie with dragons sounds awesome. You know, I'm going to go watch that. But the thing is here is that if you're comparing How to Train Your Dragon to something like Rio is considered like the underrated gem in this competition. You know, Rio is actually you know, arguably one of Blue Sky's best movies, and I mean, Hito is like already a testament to that kind of statement. But I think both me and Phoenix can agree that Rio is like high up there on our list.
Yeah, and
even if it's not number one, yeah.
I think the main reason that Rio was able to compete with How to Train Your Dragon, How to Train Your Dragon's trailers had that really awesome imagery. But the main thing we all remember about the Rio trailers is the fact they pump that good music into them. We remember the music from the trailers because the music in the trailers is what got us hooked.
Which,
yeah,
you got to the next topic of this, which is a score.
Oh man,
Musical score.
That's actually okay.
Is a tie an answer? Is a tie an answer?
Yeah,
this might be hard actually.
Then I'm gonna have to give it to both of them because I could not pick the music of one company over the other because the music in both those series. Well, actually, you know what? I think I would have to give it to Blue Sky though because a good chunk of the music in DreamWorks was really good background music that set the scene. But the music in Blue Sky is memorable. Like, I don't think I could name off the top of my head any of the songs from DreamWorks, but off the top of my head, I could list off On the Way from Ice Age, the dancing scene in Rio, the really clanky, awesome robot music you hear when you're in Robot City, when you're in Bigwell City or whatever it's called.
and not to mention they had some really top-notch artists in their movies too.
Mhm.
Like here's the thing that people forget when it comes to DreamWorks. DreamWorks literally has a whole bunch of licensed music in their thing, which is great. They have the money to throw around licensed music to make it great.
Mhm.
But their original score for their movies is not as great.
Yeah, no,
As Blue
I hands
Skies.
down got to give it to Blue Sky, I think, because as difficult as it is, you remember the music from Blue Sky.
I will actually say that for me, this is probably the hardest thing for me to compare because I do remember that because I'm a big music person. I will say that DreamWorks has a lot of epic music. It does. Because you might not be able to remember the exact tunes, but as far as I'm concerned, you know, with very action-packed series like How to Train Your Dragon, Kung Fu Panda, you know, all of those entire series, and I mean even arguably the goofy soundtrack of Shrek is memorable to a lot of people.
Let's not
But
forget
here's-
Shrek 2 and the cover of "Hold Out for a
I
Hero."
mean,
being the best.
holding out for a hero.
those.
Yeah, and honestly, that's probably one of the only instances that I can remember where they actually had somebody actually sing a song in a DreamWorks movie. Now, here's what I will say about Blue Sky, and I think if the way I'm presenting this, I think I also might have to give it to Blue Sky. But here's why I guess the music is maybe just ever slightly more memorable to me than DreamWorks, because again, DreamWorks also has a lot of memorable music, even though they don't have a lot of people say go the extra mile in it, like actually have lyrics to these songs. Quick story time. I remember the last time I visited my extended family in Malaysia, which, by the way, that is I think 16 to 18 hour flight from California, so very long flight. I remembered that that they had Rio 2 as one of the movie options on the plane, and I think that movie had only just come out at the time. So I was like, oh, dude, I'm stoked, because I'd seen the first one at least twice already, but I'd never seen the second one until that flight. So I remembered I was like watching it there. Or I was watching it. In fact, it got to the point where by the time we were taking the flight back from Malaysia to California, I was on like my fourth watch through. And by that time, I was actually analyzing the music, like everything. I was analyzing the music, what was happening to the characters in it. Now, don't get me wrong, right? Like Rio 2 probably wasn't the best movie to do that for. But it just got to a point where I was so bored because you can't do squat on your phone in an airplane that I actually started analyzing movies that I enjoyed watching on the flight to my parents' home country. And I remembered Rio 2 was one of those movies where I started doing that. And I know in Rio 2, as goofy as it was compared to its original, which of course the original is still better, they made Jermaine Clement sing his own rendition of "I Will Survive" by Gloria Gaynor. Is that the name of the artist?
Yes.
I don't remember.
Yes.
But they made him sing his own version of "I Will Survive," and and the first time I watched that, I remember that being absolutely hilarious, because I was like, oh wait, I know that song, but they actually made it different, and I guess, and maybe even in a more iconic way, because Nigel sang this as like his audition for a talent show. They were holding a talent show in the rainforest, and that's what he did as his act. I felt like that was maybe the most iconic moment of the movie. And I will maybe even go as far as to say this: Rio 2 does not have nearly as good of a plot as the original, but I will argue that Rio 2 has better music than the original. That may be a hot take, but I'm just saying that's what I think.
No, completely agree. And you both actually made a testament to my point. Like, off the top of my head, I was able to remember Blue Sky Studios, but as amazing as a lot of the DreamWorks music was, I had to be reminded that it existed. Y'all had to remind me that at the beginning All-Star existed, that in Shrek 2, the rendition of I Need a Hero, you reminded me those existed and they were amazing, but I remembered Blue Sky Studios music on my own.
Mm-hmm. Right, and then also too, right? If I recall correctly, they had Bruno Mars like serenade Jules' character at one point. Like he was like the good-looking bird of the entire family, and they actually had him serenade Anne Hathaway's character.
Bruno Mars was huge at that time.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think he's actually even bigger than ever now with Anderson .Paak. But this was like back when he was about to take his break and then come back swinging with 24K Magic and going full gangster mode. This was back in his early days where he was still pure Bruno Mars, and he was legit being brought on for movies to sing and actually be part of the movie scores. Yeah, sorry, I'll let you speak in just a second, but I'm just going to finish my thought and say that I can't remember the last time that DreamWorks actually brought an actual iconic music artist to sing for their scores.
Yeah, and like back in the day, when back in that time, a lot of artists, including Bruno Mars, if they were going to be on a movie, they needed to know the movie was good first. They needed like a script. They needed like an affirmation that the movie was going to be good. And the fact that they got a superstar at that time, Bruno Mars, to be in that movie just goes to show that the music of that movie that the music of it was just incredible, because especially musical artists, they needed to know that their talent wasn't going to go to waste in the movie. DreamWorks just tossed money.
This is going to be a difficult one, and understand why I say it's going to be a difficult one. But portrayal of art in DreamWorks and Blue Skies, and the reason why I say this is going to be a difficult one is because they are very, and I mean very similar, to the point that people mistake them together.
Mhm.
So, which one do you think has the more better art when it comes to portraying their scenes? DreamWorks or Blue Sky?
I think I have my answer. If you don't mind, Titus.
Yeah, no. You can go first.
I think personally, like you said, they get often confused with each other. They have very similar and amazing art, and no matter what movie they do, they have incredible art, they have incredible animation, all that. But I think I have to give this one very slightly, just very slightly, to DreamWorks.
Boo, throw trash, throw tomatoes, boo.
Because DreamWorks had a couple ones that, while it was still similar animation, there, like the full-blown cartoonish animation, there was a lot of imagery that made you stop and had to capture your breath. Like in Prince of Egypt and King of Dreams, there was a lot of imagery that was a lot different, and like the Van Gogh-esque dreams in Prince of Dreams, those just made you stop and had to think and feel that. And some of like the imagery of parting the sea and Prince of Egypt, that just made your breath halt in your lungs. And it was just because Prince of Egypt and King of Dreams actually didn't have that big a budget, and they were still able to make this imagery that touched your heart like they did. It was just, I remember seeing the splitting of the sea the first time in Prince of Egypt, and I cried.
So I want to add
It was so visually incredible.
I want to add this to this segment right here. I want you to understand, I have to give it to DreamWorks because they have shown what they can do with different animation. They have shown it a lot more generally than Blue Sky. For example, we've seen that they're 2D, they're 2D.5, and they're 3D. For Blue Sky, we've mostly seen their 3D animations, which will be like Ice Age, robots, etc. But
Exactly,
also,
they were able to take a wider range.
but here's the thing. Blue Sky kind of let us down with the Snoopy Charlie Brown movie a little bit. And I know they were going for that particular art style because it was line art, Charlie Brown, let's face it. They had to like do something to shade it in and make it look nice. And they did a good job at it, but it wasn't all that great.
It wasn't. And
just continue my thought, like, I would have to say that DreamWorks has a slight edge because they've done different types of animation to go into it, and you can see it slowly blending into the 3D animation that they had. The biggest example was one of my favorite movies from DreamWorks, which was Spirit. Spirit was a really good example of like, oh, it's actually looks like it's a 3D movie, but it's not a 3D movie. It's flat 2D.5 at best, and it's slowly melding. And the fun part about it is Spirit came out before Shrek, I believe.
I think Spirit was 2003 and Shrek was 2001.
Let me double check. I wanna fact.
Wait, Spirit?
The horse movie.
Oh,
Yeah, and I gotta actually agree with them because the imagery in Spirit was incredible as well. You got those nice rolling mountains, the valleys. You got, as they're running, you got that panning camera, which is incredibly hard to do.
Okay, so they're
in 2D animation.
They're a year apart, with Shrek coming out in 2001 and Spirit coming out in 2002. But
okay, so I was close.
I don't freaking care. My main point is the fact that the two movies were completely different from their time, which Shrek was their first, I believe Shrek was their first 3D movie at that point, that they started doing that. But at the end of the day, Spirit just went backwards a little bit when it came to animation. Like, they went from 3D to 2D again, and they gave us 2.5D, and it was a beautiful movie.
Didn't DreamWorks also do claymation?
If I remember
Flushed
correctly,
Away?
Flushed Away, and I think Chicken Run.
oh yeah,
Chicken
that's,
Run.
oh yeah, that's right. Because Flushed Away was made sort of by the same people who did Wallace and Gromit.
There
right?
you go.
Yeah, it was claymation. So that's another art style they've done.
Yeah,
So
okay.
we
Yeah,
have,
see,
so
that's
now
really good point to bring up.
we really do have to bring it to DreamWorks then.
Yeah, I think we all can agree on DreamWorks. This one.
I was gonna. I feel like this is gonna be a really boring episode because we're just all agreeing. But
No, the first two we you and I agree.
Well, no,
that
I'm just saying, like, there really is no disagreement here because after giving it some thought, I think I do have to also give it to DreamWorks. I mean, after you guys brought up Flushed Away, which I actually forgot that was claymation, that is a phenomenal. Yeah.
Which, by the way, I keep bringing this up as a point for the first one, but yeah, I just had to remind you about Flushed Away, Wallace and Gromit, and Chicken Run. Just saying. And Chicken Run was heavily hyped during their payday. I'm just saying.
I actually didn't like Chicken Run all that much.
I mean, yeah. That is kind of true. Actually, and you know what? I forgot that we actually disagreed on the first point because me and Phoenix agreed, but Hito didn't. I thought for some reason I thought this whole episode we just
on the first two actually. On the first two, we both agreed on storytelling and what was the second one?
Strategic marketing. I agreed that. Yeah. No, I agreed with you guys on Blue Sky.
No, I'm saying there was only one that we actually disagreed on, but you and me were on the same side, Phoenix.
Yeah, it just goes to show just how amazing that all these are that we can agree on them.
It's amazing.
Right. All right. Now, here's what I will say. Here's what I will say about DreamWorks, since I think it's better. We just mentioned Flushed Away, which was claymation, and I'm probably about to bring up something else that may either be underrated or overrated, depending on what you thought of this. I remember the first time that I ever saw Turbo by DreamWorks with Ryan Reynolds as the main snail character. If y'all don't know what Turbo is, it's basically where Ryan Reynolds, the main character who is a snail, lives in a community of snails. He gets hit with a. He quite literally gets hit with a. Oh shoot! Is this spoilers then?
No. He's never seen Turbo, and I didn't care about it.
I've never seen Bolt either, even though it's not actually.
Oh, then is this like not safe for me to talk about then?
I don't know if I'm ever actually going to see it, so go for it. Actually, I got to use the washroom, so why don't you talk about that while I use the washroom real quick?
Oh my god.
Can you let me mute and hide the camera? I'll be right back. I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
No, you did this to yourself. I'm just messing with you.
Do you mind if I use the washroom real quick? I'm so sorry.
You're covered. You're fine.
Okay.
Just don't Just don't heavy grunts. Just don't go.
I'll mute.
Oh boy, man! I was gonna say, is Phoenix gonna bring his live cam into the restroom?
We're gonna have to switch from hot tubs, pools, and beaches to toilets, sinks, and showers.
Yeah, exactly. Or we should just say everything but the kitchen sink. Anyways, so now that Phoenix is not here, sorry. The plot of Turbo was that. Turbo was voiced by Ryan Gosling. He was the main character in a snail community full of snails, and his whole dream was to be fast because snails are generally slow. One day, while he was wishing for it, he gets hit with a nitro boost off of a car race. Then now he's just able to go 1,000 times faster than the typical snail does. And I will say, the visual effects of Turbo were actually insane to me when I watched it as a teenager, because all the blue nitro flames that would come out of Turbo every time that he would just go his path was actually incredible. And I mean, it got to a point where he was able to just qualify and race in the Indy 500, which was a race for cars. Statistically speaking, Turbo would not win that race because he's a snail, and I mean just any car, any giant tire could crush the poor thing. And at that point, it's not just oh, he's out of the race, but oh, he's dead. That kind of thing.
He did.
And so I mean, what's it called? I guess I'm also just kind of talking about the plot at this point. But I mean, the plot in that sense is just commendable. And I mean, that seems to also just be a common thing with a lot of DreamWorks movies. It's just the idea that the main character has a chance to die. Right, but they do what they think is either the coolest thing to do or either what is the right thing to do. In this case, for Turbo, it was the coolest thing to do, and I mean, it almost kind of didn't work out for him, but it sort of did. My case in point, though, is that the visual effects in that movie for a very fast snail were actually incredible. The fact that they were able to keep that whole blue nitro theme running the entire time is probably something that maybe Blue Sky couldn't do. I'm not saying they couldn't do it. I'm just saying maybe it wasn't within their ability to do so, because I don't think they've ever made a movie about racing.
That's fair. All right. So, yeah, we went over art, score, marketing, and overall storytelling.
Winner, Blue Sky!
Now, we got the big one. Oh my god, we got the big one. This is going to be this is the tiebreaker.
Wait, we're tied?
Yeah, we're tied.
Yeah, we are. Actually.
DreamWorks won storytelling. Blue Sky won strategic marketing and scoring, and DreamWorks just won art. So it's 2v2 right now. The tiebreaker is Impact.
That's not fair, man!
Or is it?
Now, okay,
What do
let
you
me
mean
ask
by
you
what
this.
you say?
Let me
What do you mean when you say
ask you
Impact?
this. Hold on, Hito. Let me ask you this. You did previously do a podcast on DreamWorks movies, right?
Yes.
Did you compare this to Did you compare DreamWorks to something else in that episode as well?
Pixar.
Oh, huh. Did
Not even
Pixar
Disney,
win?
Pixar?
Did Pixar win over DreamWorks and on DreamWorks' own episode?
We literally just did that. Yeah.
Holy, okay.
And now here's now here's a reason why I'm saying Impact, because this is where it goes into play. Though they have many movies, and it goes back to what I said before about it during storytelling, though they have many films, do you remember, and I'm going to actually say this when it comes to DreamWorks, when we did the DreamWorks thing, half of those films that we looked at, we didn't even know what the hell they were.
Whereas Blue Sky, we see them, we know them all. We might not have seen them all, but we know them all.
And that's where I'm saying the impact comes very important. Because yes,
But again, like the same point as before, Blue Sky wasn't able to make as many movies
which is still important again, because
they still made a huge impact. Because yeah, no, I think I might have to give this one to Blue Sky. But even though there's not as many movies, all those movies, you know of their existence. You may not have seen them all, but you know they exist, so they made a bigger impact and you remember them, as opposed to DreamWorks, where you don't even remember half of them even existing.
remember even Haddis was with us in that DreamWorks movie, that DreamWorks film. You remember the whole thing where it came to, I didn't even see this movie. I didn't even see this movie, and these were main title movies.
I think I do have to give this one to Blue Sky. Yeah, because they might not have made as many movies, but you remember all their movies when you see them. DreamWorks, you're just like, what the hell is this? I don't even remember DreamWorks making this. Yeah, Blue Skies for me. What about you, Hito? I think Titus is still thinking.
Yeah, actually, this is another tough one for me.
So I have to give it to Blue Sky, only because of the fact that, again, they have DreamWorks has lots of movies, but half of them you can't even remember. Mm-hmm. Like, you can remember things like Prince of Egypt or, like, mind you, Spirit is underrated. Most people don't even know what the fuck I said when I said Spirit. Like, everyone's like, Spirit? The fuck? I'm like, the one with the horses. Oh, that one.
Like, when DreamWorks make an impact, they make an impact. But it really takes away from that if you don't realize that half of their movies exist. Blue Skies, when they make an impact, they make an impact. When they make a flop, you still know it existed, though.
Okay, well, the thing is, I already know Blue Sky won, so maybe I'll just argue on. I'll make this interesting. I'll argue on DreamWorks' side of this because I already know Blue Sky won. You two already agreed on Blue Sky. I was maybe gonna have to think about it more if for some reason you two disagreed, but I'll actually argue on DreamWorks' side here.
Okay.
Actually, bring up both your points. That's gonna be just as important than anything, because the thing is, I'm choosing Blue Sky over DreamWorks. However, I still bring up the fact that DreamWorks had so many times to make an impact, and they did. But again, because of all of their movies and more of an impact that they should be making with all of those movies as compared to Blue Sky, where we know all their movies, like
it's like a quality over quantity thing.
Yeah, it's like kind of on the back of my hand. I know everything. Oh wait, that's new. No, that's actually new. I got a mark. I got a mark on my. That's actually a new one. On my, that's actually.
I know this town like the back of my hand. Hey, that's it.
But my point still stands. If you have all these movies, you should be making the same impact with all these movies, including the sequels too. Like if the movie was that great for you to make a sequel and then another sequel and then another sequel, then shouldn't the whole series in itself be great?
Yeah, I think that whole thing is just like Blue Sky made sequels to try and keep making an impact. DreamWorks made sequels to keep milking the cash cow.
I can see that being a thing. Now, here's what I will say, because I think, believe it or not, I actually have seen more DreamWorks movies than Blue Sky movies. The Blue Sky movies that I can name off the top of my head that I have seen, or at least if there are any more that I don't mention right now, it's been so long since I've seen them. But the ones that I remember seeing for Blue Sky are Robots, both the Rios, the first two Ice Ages, and then there was that one I don't remember the name of this movie anymore from Blue Sky. I'm pretty sure this was like a flop for most people, but Blue Sky made a movie where there were like forest teams fighting against each other, and it was like light versus darkness, and they were trying, and I think towards the end of the movie they were trying to make some like flower bloom in light before darkness could make it bloom on their side, and then I know whoever the dark villain was, something very bad happened to them at the end.
I think you're talking about.
You guys
Epic.
know what I'm talking about?
I think you're talking about Epic.
Yeah, I think you're talking about Epic.
Yeah, see, that movie, I honestly don't. I didn't remember that much about it. All I remembered was just the plot and what it was.
You want to know something very funny?
Go ahead.
You want to know something very funny? Epic was the one that they had the least advertisement about, so that's why most people have not heard of it.
Well, I also forgot that Ferdinand and Spies in Disguise were Blue Skies, but still, the fact they were able to get Will Smith for Spies in Disguise, that's pretty impressive.
Let's not forget their commercials were again strategic marketing.
They were.
What? And then if we're gonna, and then since you just mentioned Will Smith as a pigeon, didn't they get as the bull in like Ferdinand?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I believe John Cena was actually Ferdinand. Now, again, I haven't seen either of those movies, but I just know I just know who the fudge is acting in them. And I think also on top of Will Smith, I think Tom Holland is also a pigeon.
Yeah, Tom Holland was his co-host, was his co-star. Yeah.
It was John Cena as Ferdinand, but also,
again, that just goes to show you remember them even if you haven't seen them.
Also, Kate McKinnon as Lupe.
I guess so, but it's just I don't know anything else besides who played them. I mean, for all I know, like John Cena could have been a bull, and then Sandra Bullock could have been a sitting duck in that movie.
You know what's funny?
Did you say Kate Winslet played Lupe?
Kate McKinnon.
Oh.
Also, let's not forget Gabriel Iglesias was in the movie too as Cuatro.
Which one?
Ferdinand.
Oh well, see, I didn't know that.
Like,
it's like the thing is, I think I just remember who the main characters were in these movies, but I don't know anything else about the cast.
We also
with the Blue Sky movies that I have seen, though, I could tell you a decent amount about the cast. Now, if I were to go down the list of DreamWorks movies that I've seen, I know, and I mean, Prince of Egypt is one of them, but that was when I was a kid. This was when movies were back on cassette tapes.
Coming soon to own on video and DVD.
Exactly. Those big black rectangular discs that you put into your player. I watched Prince of Egypt on that, and it's been so long since I've seen that movie, but I do vaguely remember it. I've seen every single Shrek movie, and I think at that point, if I were to name any more, like it would already overtake the list of Blue Sky, because I've actually seen entire series. A good amount of entire series from DreamWorks. I've seen every Shrek movie. I've seen every Kung Fu Panda movie, every How to Train Your Dragon movie, every Madagascar movie.
I still haven't seen How to Train Your Dragon 3. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I'm not going to talk about it, but I'm just saying I've seen every single one of those movies. And I mean, I will say In the aspect of actually getting through an entire series, which I've already done at least 4 times for DreamWorks, I will say in that regard, it does make more of an impact to me than Blue Sky. And I mean, also in that respect, Blue Sky I don't even think has that many series. I think Ice Age was their main running series, and then Rio was, I think, the only other series after that to even remotely get a sequel, which didn't do as well as the original.
Yeah, Blue Sky, like you said, Blue Skies didn't make a lot of movies.
Yeah, I know, and let alone Blue Sky doesn't even have that many long-running series. If you don't count Rio, it's just Ice Age, and Ice Age has to compete against Shrek, Madagascar, Kung Fu Panda, How to Train Your Dragon.
They should have made Madagascar a one-off. I'm sorry, I did not like the sequels in Madagascar.
There you go.
Yeah, I know, and then what? Like, didn't Boss Baby also get a sequel? Which I've never even seen.
2 sequels actually.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so Boss Baby is maybe true. Yeah, on Peacock, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what's it called? Yeah, Boss Baby I think is maybe the only series I haven't watched it, but like just about everything else that DreamWorks has made a series of, I've probably seen in its entirety, and I mean in its entirety. I've even seen like episodes of Kung Fu Panda Legends of Awesomeness, the Penguins of Madagascar one-off series that they had on Nickelodeon.
There's another new Kung Fu Panda series too, the Dragon Knight.
Yep.
Okay, well, all right, we'll have to see about that then.
And then 3 How to Train Your Dragon series, I think.
Yeah, I saw the How to Train Your Dragon series on Cartoon Network. Yeah, that was a thing too. And then I think, well, actually, maybe, you know what? The only thing I probably haven't seen from Madagascar is the actual Penguins of Madagascar movie, like the origin story of the Penguins of Madagascar. I think that's the only thing in the Madagascar series.
The show was so funny. The show was so funny.
The Nickelodeon show was actually really good.
Especially
for what it was. I would argue that Legends of Awesomeness was also decent, but I think in terms of like peak DreamWorks TV shows, I think Penguins of Madagascar has to be a childhood favorite.
Oh yeah, Penguins of Madagascar was a freaking masterpiece. I loved it. It was so funny. Like Penguins of Madagascar, I love because they focused on the comedy of the penguins for the sake of comedy. They weren't trying to make a good show. It just was good on its own because they focused on the comedy. And speaking of a show that's focused on comedy, there's actually a rumor that they are going to be making a Shrek TV series.
Well, that doesn't surprise me at all, considering Puss in Boots is somehow still alive. That's like, it's funny too, because I've even seen the Puss in Boots movie from Shrek, and the thing is, when the sequel comes out, I'm probably going to be inclined to watch it, just to say I've seen everything that is Shrek related. So just as a whole continuity thing, like where I'm getting at here is that I have been more consistent with watching DreamWorks things than I have been with Blue Sky. And that's not Blue Sky's fault. All right. What Blue Sky has realized is that unfortunately most of their one-offs just don't really work. I said like what has probably carried them through most of their sales is probably all the Ice Age movies and their spin-offs, which they made an incredible amount of content for Ice Age. And then you have Rio, which got what, like 2 movies, but that was maybe the other thing that kept them afloat besides everything else they made, because now technically, you know, Ice Age is canon to Disney, because now the newest thing that came out from Ice Age is in fact from Disney.
I like to just say that he just said all one-offs in Blue Sky were bad, even though Robots was a one-off.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Hold on. Though Robots is the exception.
And mind you,
Robots is maybe the exception, because again, I forgot about Epic, Ferdinand, and Birds and Spies in Disguise. I had to be reminded that they were things again.
What about Horton Hears a Who?
That's right. That was Blue Skies.
I have not seen that either.
That was actually a good one based off of the Dr. Seuss books.
Oh yeah, no, I did love that. And Horton Hears a Who was great. Jim Carrey. I
actually haven't seen that one because here's the thing. I was almost going to say that Horton Hears a Who was from Illumination, because Illumination did make like the Lorax and How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I almost thought Horton Hears a Who was like Illumination, but they did in fact. Blue Sky did in fact make that one. I mean that's the other thing too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, and it's just a lot of their one-offs were bad, but Horton Hears a Who and Robots were great. Obviously, Horton Hears a Who's
I
nowhere
will,
near
I
the
will, I will
Robots.
say, for the fact that you two have watched it, I'll say that Horton Hears a Who is probably also a good one-off. But again,
I mean, it's Jim Carrey. You know,
Jim
Jim
Carrey.
Carrey doesn't have a lot of.
Okay. Well, I mean, I see. I already want to see it now because it's Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey even plays Horton.
We're slowly.
And,
I know. Yeah, because
Steve Carell, I think it was, plays the mayor. Steve Carell, I think.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Dude, Steve Carell was like I was just talking about Illumination a second ago. Steve Carell was also a big part of Illumination.
Yeah, back in the day, just like Mike Myers, Steve Carell used to be like a god in kids' movies.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys.
Oh yeah, no, and I mean, yeah, he played Gru in like every Despicable Me movie as well.
All right, guys. So we've gone over the debates. Pretty good debates, but we had to give it to Blue Sky on this one. It was
Yeah, Blue Sky wins.
3-2.
Yeah.
3-2.
Yeah,
I
Blue
mean-
Sky's the winner.
I can agree with this.
Mind you-
Again, I felt like I just had to argue DreamWorks at the
Yeah.
end because
Oh,
No,
worries.
absolutely. We got to see both sides.
But I will say this: we only made a small blippet of Pixar in the DreamWorks thing. I only remember making a small blippet about it. This time, I wanted to make it a full course discussion. That's where that inspiration came from. So just understand that.
Well, I appreciate it.
But now, we got it. It's such a small. It's very small tier list. But we got tier lists. All right.
oh
So
boy.
here we go.
That is a
what
very
are we-
small tier list.
I told you guys it's very tiny. Okay.
So
Only
I noticed-
13 movies are here. 13.
Are you?
Yeah, actually,
know,
that really is all of their movies, actually.
Oh, okay. It is up in the. Okay, it is up there. Okay, good.
So, let's pick our S's first, and then describe why.
My S is Robots. You all know.
My
You
S
know
is,
why.
my S is also robots.
You might want to
Okay,
choose. You might want to choose another S.
Okay. Well,
Another
you know what?
S.
You know what? Hang on.
Wait.
Since Titus also wants his S. Well, wait. I think Hito's S is going to be Rio, obviously. My S
Okay.
is, unless you see another one on the list that you really think belongs up there, Titus. If you want, I can switch my S to something else so that Robot stays on the list on the S.
Oh, okay.
We just
Actually-
we just know it's gonna be here. Let's just establish that.
Actually, why don't we just put S and Robots and Rio up there just to make sure those stay at S's, and then judge the rest given how few there are.
But first
Like
things first,
Titus and I.
we gotta talk about the movies that are in
But,
S.
I mean, because Titus and I can agree that Robots is S tier, I'm thinking so that we have another 11 to go through. I think we should just leave these as the two guaranteed S's. What do you guys think?
that's actually fair.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm cool with this. I would say like Rio is probably one of the best movies that Blue Sky's ever.
We-
We can all agree that these two are guaranteed S's. Okay.
So I will say this though, we already talked about how deep we love these movies. We went into detail right in the beginning of this, but do we want to just give a small recap on what we feel about these movies?
I love that.
I mean, the movies. I would say honestly, the movies have just very memorable casts. I mean, if I can remember, like, if I'm going to give an example, Rio. If I can remember that Jesse Eisenberg was Blue, that Anne Hathaway's Jewel, Jermaine Clement as the main villain Nigel, then you have like all these other characters like George Lopez as the Bulldog and
Will I Am.
and Will I Am and Jamie Foxx as the Wisecracking Birds, and I forgot to mention this earlier, but Leslie Mann as Blue's owner. You know, like Leslie Mann's kind of iconic. Like some people forget about her, but I felt like her role in Rio, as even though it wasn't as big as Jesse's, was actually it was actually good for what it was.
Yeah, and this is back
as-
when Leslie Mann was big, but Jesse Eisenberg wasn't that big yet. He didn't really bloom yet.
I actually feel like that this might have been his breakthrough in his acting career.
Yeah, I honestly think that Rio is what got Jesse really out there.
Mm-hmm. Because I've actually seen a lot more of his movies since.
Okay.
I can probably say that I probably knew Jesse Eisenberg from the fact that he was the main character in Rio.
Didn't Jesse Eisenberg also play Lex in in Man of Steel?
I actually don't know. I've just seen him in a few other. I know he's in the Now You See Me series. He's one of the main characters in that movie too, which also very good.
And he also plays one of the main characters. He also plays Mark Zuckerberg in the Facebook movie.
Oh, I actually have not seen.
Neither have I, and I don't plan on it.
All right.
I have enough problems dealing with the real Zuckerberg. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Are we ready for some Ice Age as our first movie?
Yeah. Let's put the Ice Ages in order.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
Isn't it Dawn of the Dinosaurs?
and clearly the Disney Plus series isn't there because I'm sure this tier list was made before that, but
Wait, wasn't Continental Drift 4?
Continental, was it or wait, was it? Hold on.
No, because Ice Age 2. Because we gotta look up the title.
Yeah, because I was gonna say because Ice Age 2 was the Meltdown, right?
Ice Age 2, the Meltdown, Ice Age
2,
Dawn of the Dinosaur, Continental Drift, and Collision Course.
Right. Yeah.
And then there's the new show about Buck called Buck Wild.
All right, so there we go. We have
which is heavily based off the third one.
Yeah.
So.
Wait! Then I've seen the first three. Then frick, what am I talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. See, now that we've like brought this back up again, I want to go ahead and correct myself. I want to go ahead and correct myself and say that I have seen everything up to Dawn of the Dinosaurs. So I've seen half of these.
All right, so are we ready to start? Our first one is the first Ice Age movie.
S. I gotta say S.
This will be the third S. I'm sorry. Like, this is a really iconic movie that started its thing.
So unless Titus goes B, it's saying S.
Listen, I will actually agree with S. I was originally going to say A, but we'll leave it at S.
Even if you said A, it still would have been S because that was 2 S's to 1 A, so it would average out to S anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so next up,
like Ice Age was just the baby of Blue Sky Studios.
the baby that went successful.
Yeah.
All right, next up is Ice Age 2, The Meltdown.
I gotta give that one a B because it wasn't as memorable for me.
This one I could give either a high B or a low A.
I actually kind of feel the same. I feel the same way that Hito does, to be honest.
Okay, so that's 2 A's, so we can put it in A.
Oh.
At most, I would say it deserves a low A.
Yeah.
Because it's still Ice Age.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
3, Dawn of the Dinosaurs.
I mean, if I recall correctly, this was the one where the beloved Sid almost died, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
he was almost he almost had a Mama T-Rex sit on him with her meaty thighs.
Well, no, but didn't he almost die to lava too?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we discover that he's the donkey of Blue Sky Studio.
Yep.
Donkey Bug the Dragon Sid.
Well, yeah, pretty much. Oh man. And see, here's the thing: if this movie was that good, and Disney decided that they had to branch off of this movie in particular and pretty much make an in between like series between Dawn of the Dinosaurs and Continental Drift. I mean, for a lot of people, it had to have been that good.
So, you know what? I think I could knock this down to a B and put this at the A.
Yeah, I would give it a high A or low S for Dawn of the Dinosaurs.
Because I forgot that this was the movie that branched out into all the other Ice Age stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, for God's sake, Disney made a series off of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
This is like, if we're going to talk about the Ice Age timeline, this is now like this series is now canonical in between Dawn of the Dinosaurs and Continental Drift.
Yeah, because let's be honest, everyone's favorite part about Dawn of the Dinosaurs was Buck, and everyone was so sad when we didn't get to see Buck again because Buck was hilarious, Buck was memorable, and Buck, we just all love Buck, let's be honest.
Yeah, and I mean, what's it called? He was actually kind of like that brother that are the names of the
Possum Brothers,
Crash and Eddie.
Yeah, it's just like
okay. I just wanted to make sure. I remembered that he was like Buck was almost kind of like that brother that Crash and Eddie never had. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he was like the older brother they really needed. Like
exactly.
but let's be honest. We all remember the name's back, short for Buckminster, long for We all remember that. We all remember Buck. We all love Buck.
Oh, yo, Phoenix, your lover's here.
My what? Wait, my what? My
Mrs. Phoenix
Oh,
is
hi,
here.
baby. Hey, baby. Love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here, my love.
Oh man! All right, so now we're on Ice Age 4, the Continental.
I have not seen this one.
I will admit I haven't seen the last two either.
So you know what we got to do? We got to make another. We got to make another thing. We're gonna.
Yeah,
add
we gotta
a
make it.
Roborock.
We got to make another tier, which haven't seen or something.
I think that haven't seen is gonna go have a lot in it because neither of us have seen Ferdinand or Spies in Disguise either.
Yeah, about that.
I have. Yeah.
And I haven't seen Epic, so
Yeah, about that. So,
I haven't, to be honest. I'll talk about that when we get there.
all right, so Continental Drift and the fifth movie just goes here.
I'm sorry, Ice Age. I'll make it up to you. I'll watch you later, I promise.
Look, honestly, what we should do is we should probably binge watch Ice Age and actually figure out where these would go on the tier list at some point.
Yeah, I think we need to do that after this. Hito, or not Hito. Titus and I definitely need to do this because wait, Hito, have you seen 4 and 5?
No.
Okay, so we should all watch them together at some point and figure out where they would have gone on the tier list.
Fair.
Done. I'll do it.
Next up is Rio 2. This one's a solid C.
I'd say B.
I don't know if I put it that low, man.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'd say B.
I would say B. Maybe and maybe it goes after Ice Age 2 because I'm just saying, man, you can't deny the you can't deny the fact that Nigel had to sing his own version of "I Will Survive" in a talent show was iconic.
I will survive.
That was maybe the best part of the entire movie. I will for a fact, and I will also say the music in Rio 2 I've said this earlier. The music in Rio 2 overall, in my opinion, is better than the first movie. But plot-wise, it's not as good. It's basically Nigel just trying to kill Blue the entire time for what he did to him in the previous movie. After in the previous movie, Nigel got absolutely wrecked by his own airplane.
Mm-hmm.
Next up
So
is...
wait, before you go, do we want to watch this together, the three of us, or do we want to do it on our own time?
Own time.
Okay, 4 and 5 we'll watch on our own time. Okay.
All right.
Okay, yeah, I can agree to that. Maybe I'll even watch the first 3 again as a reminder of like how it's going to tie into the next.
Yeah, I think I might watch the first 3 before work and then watch the other 2 at work.
I'm actually willing to binge watch this whole series.
Yeah.
All right. Next up is Snoopy and Charlie Brown.
I haven't seen it.
I have not seen this one. I have only seen trailers, but supposedly Blue Sky tried to replicate the charm of Charlie Brown.
Tried. Keyword.
Oh, we all haven't seen this?
No.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
All right. Next up is Ferdinand.
Haven't seen it.
I did.
Okay, well then you can place it where you think.
Yeah, you're going to represent our opinion because we don't have an opinion.
Okay.
I love John Cena in the movie, and I love the art that inspires Ferdinand. The many Rule 34 art that inspires Ferdinand. But I will say the plotline was great. It gets a little somber though, I'm not gonna lie. And it's still a good movie overall. I still have to remind myself about the movie every now and then, so I will probably end up rewatching Ferdinand. But it was a good movie. I did enjoy it.
Okay, but just compared to everything else on this list right now, it's the worst.
Yeah, that's the only reason. Next
Interesting.
Up, Spies in Disguise.
Haven't seen
it. I might give it a watch at some point though, just because usually like Will Smith
and Tom Holland. I got to give it a try.
They're
already hilarious just in their own retrospective movies.
My wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Keep my pigeon's name out your.
We can't. I can't. Anytime when I hear just a Will Smith movie, that's all I hear. It's like a non-flashback, but like in my ears, in my auditory, just keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Will
That's all
Smith
I
just
can-
slapped the shit out of me.
I still can't believe that happened earlier this year.
Oh my God. Last
neither
year.
can I.
Was it last year or was
Dude.
it this year?
No,
yeah, it was
this
this
year.
year.
No, it was this year, like end of January this year.
No, I don't even think it was that far ago. I think it was like, hang on.
February? March? Somewhere there?
It was end of January, beginning of February, I think.
No, March 27th.
There you go.
Holy cow! Wow, it was that recent.
Well, that was when the Academy Awards were. So.
Yeah.
Oh my God! So then, well, I mean, then I guess realistically, when it happened, no, but they film it in real time, so never mind.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah,
Never
Academy
mind.
Awards
It was
are live.
actually it was actually March 27th.
Speaking of which,
Because let's be honest, if it was recorded beforehand, they wouldn't have put that in there.
speaking of which, Horton Hears a Who is next.
Hey.
A.
I haven't seen it.
It's really
Well, then
good.
stays in.
It's
It
really
is.
good. It's really good.
Like Jim
Wow.
Carrey with Steve Carell. It's just really funny. It's a great movie.
And finally, Epic.
Haven't seen it.
Oh, am I the only person that can talk about this?
Go for it.
All
Okay,
yours.
well, for those of you who don't know, Epic is basically a movie about this woman here who I already forgot the name of. Let me actually search this up real quick. I was going to try not to use the internet for any of this, but I
This
actually
woman that we forgot the name of because
No, I'm dead, dude. I'm dead serious. All right, so Amanda Seyfried, I believe, was the actual. Amanda Seyfried was the main character in this, and her actual name was Mary. And in the movie Epic, her character's name is Mary Catherine, and she is apparently the daughter of Professor Bomba. That is not a made-up name. That is an actual real.
Mary Catherine Bomba.
Mary Catherine Bomba. That is her full name.
Mary Catherine got the Bomba.
I know, dude. Yeah, exactly. And now that I'm looking back at this cast was actually kind of iconic as well, because you had Colin Farrell as Ronan, who was like the character that. Yeah, you had Colin Farrell as Ronan, who was a seasoned Leaf Man warrior that Mary Catherine actually ended up. Or no, it wasn't. Was it? Actually, yeah, I think this was the character that Mary Catherine actually fell in love with at the end of the movie. No, it wasn't him actually. This was the leader. Josh Hutcherson as Nod was the love interest of Mary Catherine.
I might
I have to actually look at the internet for verification because I forgot most of these characters.
I legitimately might watch it just for Josh Hutcherson.
Okay,
Beyonce is also in this movie. I actually do vaguely remember this.
Oh my
She
God,
is
it's Beyonce.
Bring the beat in. Anything for you, Beyonce. What's it called? Beyonce is Queen Taro, who is literally Mother Nature. She's on the light side of the force, and she is Queen Mother Nature, aka Queen Tara. Beyonce's in this movie. Aziz Ansari.
No. Stop. Hold on. Of course, Beyonce got to be a queen or some goddess. Of course she does. Because of course it's Beyonce. Like I will scream the Shark King's voice. Like, oh my God, it's Beyonce. Then Clayface in the corner. It's Lady Gaga.
I know. It's actually absurd. Aziz Ansari, some of you might be familiar with this person. I do actually remember his character in this movie because he was the most goofy character of them all. He was a slug that actually tried to hit on Mary Catherine, but Mary Catherine again ended up falling in love with Nod, who was played by Josh Hutcherson, and again, Mary Catherine was played by Amanda Seyfried. But Aziz Ansari, like a really funny Indian dude, basically plays Mub, a slug again, who tried to hit on Mary Catherine and like obviously in a very playful way, but he was very sassy about it. Chris O'Dowd played Grub, a snail who was like Mub's companion, and Grub was just watching Mub hitting on Mary Catherine the entire time. Like, what the F am I watching? Pitbull is actually in this movie. He's apparently a toad dealer, which I completely forgot about his character. Jason Sudeikis plays as Professor Bomba, who is Mary Catherine's father. There you go. That's who plays Professor Bomba.
Oh, that's a memory.
Yeah. And then the rest of these guys, I don't know if they're that familiar. Steven Tyler, Blake Anderson, Julia.
I'm sorry. Pause. Pause. Did
What?
you just say Steven freaking Tyler?
Steven Tyler, yeah. What else was he a part of? Because I forgot.
He's the lead singer of Aerosmith.
Yep.
Oh, is he? Is he actually?
Yes.
Well, okay, now I definitely got to give it a watch because if you say Josh Hudson and Steven Tyler, like, I don't give too much of a care about Beyonce. I love her, but I never really cared for her acting capabilities. But Josh Hudson and Steven Tyler, you can bet your ass I am watching this.
Phoenix, you just pissed off like 75% of the world that like Beyonce.
Hey, I love Beyonce. I just don't think she can act. I'm sorry.
No, she can act. I think her role in Obsession was really great because it wasn't a cartoon. It wasn't a cartoon. It was an actual
Pink Panther.
Anyways, I had to just remember the cast real quick. But basically, the plot of this movie is that there is going to be a newborn warrior on the light side and the dark side. I think. Oh yeah, Christoph Waltz. Christoph Waltz. I should mention is Mandrake, who is leader of the Boggans. The Boggans are the dark warriors of the forest, and the Leaf Men are the light warriors of the forest. It's basically light versus dark in this movie. There's going to be.
I hear the Leaf Men. Yeah. I hear the Leaf Men, and all I'm thinking about is Pikmin.
Loki, you're not entirely off when you say Pikmin. But basically, it's light versus darkness because Beyonce, as the queen, unleashes a prophecy that there will be a new warrior, blooming, and she warns them that they can't let this warrior bloom in darkness because let's put it this way: this warrior is OPAF, right? Whoever warrior this side takes, they will pretty much like destroy the other side. And I think actually at some point, like right after Queen Terra gives the prophecy, she dies because the Dark Crew basically find a good way to kill her.
Wait, no, they killed off Beyonce? What?
I think they do kill off. I think they do in fact kill off Beyonce. Yeah.
I was just like at the same time, like they killed off our queen. we're gonna go Super Ugandan Knuckles 3 for that.
Oh my god, no! We were not bringing back Ugandan Knuckles. God damn it!
Ebola!
Oh no!
Do you know the way?
You know what's funny? The one time that saying a name of an illness was hilarious, and now the pandemic happened, and now it's not fucking funny anymore. God, yeah.
No, it's not that it's not funny. It's just that it makes it even darker and just like, oh my fucking god, which makes it even funnier.
Oh god.
No, but when he was talking about light, like a force of light and a force of darkness, that unlocked a memory for me. The memory he unlocked was Fern Gully.
I don't know what that is.
What?
Yeah, I'm seeing Phoenix's
Fern Gully, the last rainforest. Right, you don't fucking know Fern Gully?
Fern Gully?
Robin Williams plays an insane bat!
What, is Fern Gully a movie that I'm not aware of?
Fern Gully is a movie about saving the forest. Robin Williams, it's about a bunch of fairies, and the main dude gets shrunk down to the size of a fairy because he's a logger, and they have to stop an evil entity that literally is just living pollution. And like I said, Robin Williams plays an insane bat who actually escaped from a testing lab.
Cool.
It is a fantastic movie. Lots of great music, fantastic animation, great cast, and just Tim Curry plays the bad guy and sings a song called Toxic Love.
Okay.
Interesting.
I highly recommend it. It is an amazing movie. Classic 90s.
Huh. Go figure.
I am honestly disappointed in both of you right now.
Oh, please.
I just has an excuse. He's a kid. No, let me stop.
Listen.
No, Titus has an excuse. He was like, I don't even know if he was born at this point.
Listen, I didn't worship Robin Williams at every given moment. I don't know all of his movies, to be fair.
Okay.
And this one sounds pretty obscure.
It is. It's
okay,
when did the underground movie?
When did Fern Gully come out?
Let me double check.
Because I was either way too young.
It actually came out before I was born, 1992.
I wasn't even born
right.
then.
Okay, but my point is, wait, Hito, are you older than me or younger than me?
I'm 1993. That thing came out a year before I did.
Okay, you were born before I was, yet I know about it. So what's your excuse?
My excuse is I had Disney on my back. So mind you, Lion King was a big thing for me. So was The Little Mermaid. So was like a whole bunch of other stuff that came out. Toy Story was a big one for me. And then not to mention, I was into Power Rangers and Beetleborgs.
Go Power Rangers! I understand.
Oh wow, Christian
I understand
Slater
that
was in
love.
it too?
There you go.
Cheech and Chong were both in it. I forgot about
right.
that. Cheech and Chong
So-
played
Okay,
grandpas.
So where would you put Epic, Titus?
Yeah. Let me go ahead and finish the verdict. So the thing is that I feel like Blue Sky just has a running theme with just having very iconic casts, and even in Epic, a movie that I really forgot most of, like the characters' names and all that stuff. It still has an iconic cast. I mean, Colin Farrell, Josh Hutcherson, Amanda Seyfried, Beyonce as the Queen.
Beyonce!
I would have never remembered that. Yeah, exactly. Aziz Ansari, which some people do actually know.
Thank for
Pitbull.
Beyonce.
Jason Sudeikis, Blake Anderson, apparently, who is the lead singer of Aerosmith. Or no, sorry, Steven Tyler. Sorry, my bad. See, this is just goes to show you how much I know about Aerosmith, but Steven Tyler's also in this too, and apparently, like a lot of people know him too because of his thing in Aerosmith. But I will say that that out of most of the movies that we've named so far, this is probably the movie that I remember the least. It wasn't as impactful as its other movies, so I think I would probably have to put this in C. Now, I don't know if it's fair to put it above Ferdinand because I actually haven't seen Ferdinand, and I guess maybe Hito can make that call, but that's where I would put it personally. Either above Ferdinand or just below Ferdinand in C. I think maybe putting it in D would be a little too harsh because I do remember some of it, but it's just like
You can't rate Beyonce D. It's just like
You just
true. You can't put the Queen that low. I mean,
you can't rate Beyonce the D, but you can give. Wait, no, let me stop.
hold on. I think Phoenix, you deserve one of these. Hold on a sec.
book.
Yep.
Rate her a D, but you can give her.
Can we forget that Did we forget that Blue Sky is dead?
Yes, we can. We can also remember that Jay is not to be all the time. So
Don't horny bonk me. I have horny bonk immunity.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. I was given it to
listen,
Blue Sky died,
man,
and also Venonat is not butterfree.
You know what? You had to bring that up. You said that. You had to bring that up.
Oh my god.
It was gonna be good enough to next week. You had to bring it up again here.
What did Phoenix Fire mistaken that Venonat or Venonat or Venonat? Yeah,
Not
Venonat
a damn word, Hito.
Oh, don't worry. We'll bring it up. We'll bring it up for the finale tomorrow. Which Titus, you
hate
got the
you so-
invitation now.
Wait, I thought it was on the 30th.
Wait. Oh, there's an invitation. There's a finale invitation.
Yes. So any guest star that was here on season 2, which now is the perfect time to bring up the announcement. Any guest that came in on season 2 gets to join the big party finale for a season 2 wrap up of the 30th, which I'll be asking everyone questions from each of the different scenarios that we did. Of course, I'm only gonna bump it up to certain guests for certain questions, but obviously, this is your chance to actually bring up all the knowledge that we have in our era of all of the questions we've ever asked throughout this whole entire series for season 2.
Not counting Venonat.
Counting Vanna.
I thought it was on the 30th.
It is on the 30th.
I will be.
30th.
I'll just be upfront right now. I will have to see if I can make it to that because I'm pretty sure school's going to start ramping up at that point. But if
it's not it's optional. That's if you can come in.
I can only give you 45 minutes because I have a previous engagement.
That's fine. We're going to be rolling in and rolling out. That's how it works.
But yeah, tomorrow's the 24th.
So how long does this finale event last?
It's going to be for 3 hours.
Okay, I'll probably, if I can show up, I'll probably show up late then.
Yeah, it'll be late. It's going to be from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. my time, so that means it'll be probably 4 to 7 on yours.
Or 4 to 7, yeah. I mean, I know I'll have a class from 4 to 5:15, so then after that, if I can get back to my apartment as quickly as possible, assuming absolutely nothing and no one distracts me, which is proving to be a menace, I can probably make it.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, we're having every single guest, guys. So guess what? I get to read the guest list today that I've sent the invitations to. Not that everyone RSVP'd, but you know what I mean? I can send I can now bring up the whole guest list, which Silver should have gotten one too. Did Silver get one? I swear to
No
God.
talking about Ben and that.
But yes, whatchamacallit? We're going on to the finale now, which I'm pretty sure I sent one to Silver. Because I sent
I know
it to
I got
everyone.
one.
Yeah, because you were also a part of the DreamWorks one, so I technically had to send that to you. But our guest list as follows. This is going to be the big guest list. Here we go. So our guest, because mind you, I had to send like a shit ton of messages. I couldn't do it like in one group message. It was a lot. So our guest list for our season 2 wrap up is Odd Hour, Waba Streams, Shad JV, Mantle Ferox, Hadas, Princess Snugglebutt, aka Phoenix Fire, Angelus, Wrecked Wizard. Let's see. A-Lig, Shellshock Prime, MMG Mike, Maple, Turfindial, Sam the Unicorn, B-Dubs, Lucy McGillicuddy, Eric Gray. Why I said Eric? Aaron Gray. You know what? That'll be the perfect like boy persona for
Lucy Mc who now?
Lucy McGillicuddy, awesome drag queen streamer.
Okay.
Alex of Pixel Noise, Symmetric Heart, John JT, CR Calcos, Mikampachi, Stolen Waffles. Still going on the list, guys. We're on August finally. Silverstone Kandar, Ribbon Ichigo, Matt Big Fat, The Epic Man World, 112, Jeremy the Nostalgia Alchemist, Mecha Dragon 101, and finally Titus TW.
Yeah. So yeah. I don't know how long. Like I said, I'll be there. I'm sure it's already going to be packed as it is by the time I get there. But I would love to give some feedback on what exactly we've talked about. I assume you did this last season as well.
I did not get a chance to. This is my first time hosting a series finale, a season finale.
Like I said,
I was gonna say this ends on season 2 confirmed.
Yep, this ends on season. No, it doesn't end on season 2.
I was gonna say you're gonna do more retrogrades.
Do we have confirmation
year.
of next? Do we have confirmation of next season's first month?
Not yet, but I do have a few ideas that I'm spinning. I know one of them is reality TV from the past.
Do you have any of them that I'd be good for yet? Because I'd love to come back again.
Probably Illumination.
Oh, dude, frick! I'll come back for Illumination too. Why not?
Hey, if you'd love to have us back for Illumination, I'd love to rejoin.
I'd
love to. I had a great
really
time
depends on my.
I'll also be adding Hadas.
Okay, I mean, hey, it depends on my school schedule. I honestly lucked out today because
wasn't Hadas who I did DreamWorks with?
That is correct.
Okay, that'd be great to be back with them. Are you still planning on eventually doing a Yu-Gi-Oh one?
That one I will not have you a part of. I already had a full list for that one.
Oh, I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh since it came to the U.S.
So have I. So has these people. And they've been in tournaments.
Oh, have I? And I've been watching the show since it first started.
And one of them actually won. Which this is a rip on me, by the way. So, yeah.
Wow, you wow, I see how it is. Okay.
I made fun of myself. Jesus.
No, I see how it is. You don't want a huge Yu-Gi-Oh fan there. No, I see.
It's not that I don't want to...
No, you're right. I'd probably just be spending the entire time talking about Dark Magician Girl's tits. You're right.
You would, technically. Like, not to toot your own tits, but yeah, you probably would. But anyway,
I can see my tits.
But listen, I do have episodes listed out for the next year, which is the next year. Oh my god, I'm still going to be looking... I had to write these down because, I forgot most of the ones I want to do because I was doing Blizzard Gaming as well. And Activision was another one, too.
I mean,
I
yeah,
just
with
had
the
an
whole...
idea.
Yeah.
Some stuff on
Saturday
Activision,
morning
yeah.
cartoons.
What about it?
Have you done one for Saturday morning cartoons?
That was the one with
I
me
think
on the
he has
Silver
already.
Waffles.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, now that we're done today, we are going to be sending the raid over to somebody. And I'm going to send it over to Poison because they're playing Cults of the Lamb.
Now you're just somebody that I used to know.
Oh, God, not that song. Don't do that to me.
What? No, man, that's not...
Cut me off. How your friend collect your records.
Okay, I don't want to.
And
I don't want to turn into watercolors all of a sudden and just like be high with a
It's
joint.
stuck in Hito's head! Torture him!
Yeah, y'all are terrible.
Don't fucking say it.
we're like the two brain cells that Hito never knew he needed.
Blue Sky Studios is dead. Get over it.
Damn it! And Titus, what are you talking about? Hito doesn't have any brain cells.
I do. A lot more than you think. Less than you have.
Hito, thank you so much for having me. I had a blast.
And this is why we don't joke about people's intellects, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah.
But yeah. On all seriousness, before this raid comes through, thank you for also having me as well. I'm glad that within my busy school schedule, thank you I was able to attend one of these at all before school wrapped.
Now I have a question to say.
Also,
What's
thank
your
you for the
favorite
follow.
retro game? I hope you enjoy your cozy stay.
Oh, we got a last minute follow.
We got a last minute follow. Thank you so much. Welcome to the Retro Bear Cave Club. We don't announce who followed because we want to make sure that everyone feels like they're just chilling. So we keep it anonymous, but if you want to reveal yourself, you are welcome to do so. But guys, as always, was another successful and our technical final topic episode before we go into the finale. So thank you guys so much. I will also be giving out awards for the funniest things that happened into the stream before too. So just know that there will be awards to look forward to.
I know I'm gonna get one for Venom.
I was gonna say, me and Phoenix are officially eligible after what happened today.
Anyway, guys, as always, this is Hito Retro Gaming giving you guys the 8-bit love. Bye.
Bye.